The Vaingate Chronicles, number 35, Telos. There is a myth familiar to wizards, celestials, and other interplanar beings alike. It begins with a story of a place such as an island, with a life of its own. A location tied to the very destiny of a world, tied to the very fate of a people. An island that will appear in times of great need and remain hidden throughout the rest of history. An island inhabited by heroes and guardians whose destiny is bound up in the fate of nations. The Island of Shadows in Sidarial Tularathion is one such place, at one time spoken of in epic sagas and poems, but now only whispered of fearfully in hushed tones behind the closed doors of a proud elven people, oppressed by a usurper whose objectives remain unknown. It is here on this island where we find ourselves shrouded in a magical white mist impenetrable to those without eyes to see. That Imrel Maith, an ancient archmage and planeswalker, has begun to direct forces that will set in motion a prophecy known only to a few of the ancient guardians of Sidarial. Guardians like Tozen the Unicorn, like the Winter Queen, like the ancient silver dragon Dale Varaxus. Here now on this mystical island he has gathered the twins Braegan and Nulmira Erathani, surviving offspring of the last true king Durian Erathani, whose bloodlines extend to the first thrones of the primal elves, living representations of a first cause set in motion when the primal elves sprung from the blood of their god, king, father. These twins and a circle of companions and guardians, keepers and generals whose first and last priority is to restore the balance of the world before the end of the Third Age. But Maith has seen a fourth age dawning. For beyond this age of the blessed child, represented to him by these very twins, symbols who when combined in sovereignty represent the age of pure celestial origin, the androdyne, an alchemical perfection in which all parts are mixed and all genders known and fulfilled. Beyond this age is an age of truth that he sees an abyss that must be crossed, but for now there is an horizon. There he sees an abyss that must be crossed. For now it is but a far horizon. What is known to Maith is that nearly all the players on this stage have finally revealed themselves. Only a few now remain hidden. Only the most powerful among his enemies could have managed to keep secrets this long, and soon they too will reveal themselves. But first the vessels must be purified and consecrated for the forge. Extreme processes which not all such vessels survive. Welcome to the Vaingate Chronicles. I'm Russell Kirkby, and I would like to introduce Joanna Grotenhouse, Goodale Dala Talandaran, Barry Tahira as Galandal Ren Talandaran, Michael Bache as Adrik Fogdar, Steve Austin as Leith Mistralath, Max Easy as Edryn Montcoff, and Caitlin Flower finally as Nyla Talandaran. Although, as previously mentioned, she won't pronounce her name that way because her character's special. Haha. So now that we've done our introduction, I would like to go around the room, as it were, and have each of our players give us a little recap of their characters' perceptions of the game as it has occurred. Starting with you, Joanna, if you don't mind. And this will also be a sound test for our players. Haha.
That's true. So Goodale and the group have just returned from Hemeth Terrath, which is Goodale and Ren's hometown. And she's actually very relieved to have left, and she's counting her blessings. She feels very much that Sehanine Moonbow, her patron, her goddess, has probably been favorably intervening for them, because there were many situations that they probably should not have survived. They did lose Milford Brixton, of course, and I think she's feeling quite guilty about that. She's got some ructions in her faith because they had that run-in with the orcs, and the orcs gave her a different point of view of the story of Pakad, and now she's thinking about Sehanine Moonbow and wondering, Did she know that the orcs wanted the moonstones as well? Was she hogging it all to herself, this giant temple? And she's also sort of mourning the loss of her family. Her dad and her sister, she wasn't really able to make much connection with them, though she did try. But she did connect with Alar, and she did connect with her mother in a very special way. And now she's wondering if she'll ever see them again. And related to that, she's realizing that she may have put the island at risk by she didn't intend to tell Alar that she was a servant of the fox, but she did tell him that if he was ready to split with Hemeth Terith, with King Evran, that he should go to Timbrook, which is a town nearby to the Isle of Shadows, and present the foxtail. And he knew straight away what that meant, and she was a bit surprised at that. So she has to tell Maith and or Thorn that she made this invitation, and B, that Alar knew straight away about the servants of the fox, and she's not sure if the servants are common knowledge or what.
Right. Very interesting. Thank you. Barry Tahira, Galandel Rantalandaran.
Well, Bryn is at this moment remembering his suffering at the sufferance and the things he went through. He's standing on an island wondering, where do I go to from here? He was once a captain of the guard, and he was once somebody who knew where he belonged, but now he's completely and utterly lost and trying to find a purpose and a place for himself, and trying to sort himself out generally.
Right, because he's been on this island by himself for a while, trapped in the sufferance, not really expecting to be rescued, was he?
No, he definitely wasn't expecting to get rescued, and he definitely didn't think that his sister would come and do the rescuing. Right. And he definitely knew that she had a band of merry men and women, but now he's just wondering where he fits in that whole thing.
Right. Fair enough. Okay, cool, thank you. Michael.
Hello. At this time, Adrik is... he's a little bit confused. He's standing at what he thinks is a crossroads. When we started last episode, he was remembering what had been stolen from him by an Obelix in the rivers of the Sufferance, stealing his most cherished memories and the memory why he started this journey. And he also remembers, despite the headache, the peace that brought him. So he's confused. He wants that peace again, but he can't let go of that. But he also feels quite indebted to Brixton, so he wants to go and do what he can for Vaingate, considering it's partially his fault. But now he's also got this duty of care to this drow child that he's taken in, Zin, and after discussion with the captain of the guard, Thorn, and King Braegan, he realizes that this island likely isn't the best place for Zin. So he's thinking about what the best place for him might be, and he might take up Edryn's offer of Vanderhold, considering it's cold and it's dark, and likely the best place for him to be safe.
Okay.
That's where he's at.
Right, very interesting. Nyla, we're going round in a horseshoe here.
Yes, hello. Nyla is feeling a little bit out of sorts. She's joined this merry group of men and lady, and she, as far as she's concerned, she's done her duty and found them and helped them, and now she's faced with a decision whether to stay with them or to go and do something else. And she's also made a king rather angry, and we don't know how that's going to turn out. but I think she is hoping to stay with the team because she's found some kinship among them. And I'm not sure what her reaction will be going forth, but at the moment she's feeling very much a little bit more connected to the real world rather than just to nature as she's used to.
Right. Okay, Maxwell, if I may call you that.
Whatever you like.
All right.
Yeah, Edryn is feeling he's glad that Gadale has her brother back, and he did everything he could to help, but now we're at the island, and he's thinking, well, there's a lot of places, different places we can go, and a lot of different routes, and he's feeling at a very, very much of a crossroads as well, where they could go to Vanderhold, because he feels like he has a duty to go back there with what's happening with the Fisher Rebellion, what's washed up the plague, a dream he had about his son, but at the same time he really doesn't like Vanderhold, so he's kind of resisting the idea of going back because he doesn't really want to go back, but he also feels duty bound. It's the same with Vaingate. He feels duty bound to go to Vaingate, help sort that out, but he remembers the outcomes of war, and he remembers what happens to people and what happens to especially the common folk when a war breaks out, and he's kind of reluctant to go back and witness all that again, but again he feels duty bound to go do it. Yeah, he's very, very conflicted right now of what to do. He feels a bit lost, more so than usual. He always feels a bit lost, but more so now than he's accustomed to.
Right, fair enough. And Steve?
So Leith Leith was the first one to spot the new red star approaching in the sky, and from all of the visions that he's been having in the last however many months, weeks it's been, he's seeing that there's going to be a way forward, that some sort of prophecy is going to pass, and he's been trusting in the words of his patron, Tozin the Unicorn, and is taking his bearings from the wishes of Maith. So that Maith wasn't at the island when we all got back was a little bit of a back foot for Leith. He was courteous to Braegan, but really would have preferred to have been speaking with Maith about where to from here. He thinks that the best place to go will probably be to the Orcs, specifically to Kagi Mingal, but wants to see that deep down that the prophecy is fulfilled, whatever that may be.
Right. Fair enough. All right. So, as of the end of last episode, I believe you had been in court with King Braegan, or future King Braegan, to be really specific. Not King Braegan, depending on how you look at things. He's the king of this.
Maybe King Braegan.
He's the king of this island. There's that. And we are on the island, so there is also that. In any case, the last thing he said was everybody out, basically. And so everybody has been marched out of the pavilion, out into the general camp area. So whereabouts did you go when you were cast out, Nyla? What did you do initially? And the guards kind of, once you're out of the tent, they take their hands off you immediately. They're not going to manhandle you or anything like that. But they do sort of stand there quite imposingly at the entrance to the tent.
Thank you very much, boys. It was nice to see you again. How's your wife?
One of them nods to you and smiles. He says, this again, eh?
Oh, sometimes it just comes out. I really need to learn how to hold my tongue. Maybe I need a foot to just put in there and just chomp on.
You have to remember he's young, milady.
Yes, I think you do. It's there's a lot riding on what's going on this island. You need to understand that, and I really wish Maith was here. He'd be able to clear this all up.
It's all right, Leith. I know.
You have met Maith, yes?
Oh yes, we are good friends.
Oh, good.
It is more of I forgot myself. Braegan does not like people questioning him in the company of others.
Yes.
And it was my own fault. I apologize if you all were scared.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm sure the others do as well.
Have the others also come out at this point, or you're just standing about listening, or where did you go? Obviously, Leith is standing next to Nyla. Where is Edryn, Ren, Adrik, and Dala?
Adrik, if we go out, and I assume this means it's basically, I guess bedtime, or no, we're no longer talking to him. Adrik, would you mind coming with me to that little? I can't remember. It was that sort of dial in the ground with the rocks. I might need to borrow something from the bag of holding before we do. I want to take a look at something.
Right, you are. Let's go and get that off of Dala. Just much of it, Dala. Excuse me, Dala. Do you mind if Edryn and I want to go perform an experiment? Do you mind if we borrow the bag?
An experiment?
Hey, there's something that I imagine there's something that Edryn wants to have a closer look at away from prying eyes.
Oh, okay. I'll just pull out my mace and my shield.
Dala, are you wearing your plate armour at this point?
Yes, I am.
Okay, just checking. Cool.
So Dala pulls out her things and hands the bag over.
Thank you kindly. We'll have that back to you as soon as possible.
Excellent.
All right, let's go.
Ren, shall we find our way to... I can show you where my tent used to be when we were here before.
That'd be good. That'd be excellent, Sister dear.
I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted. I can't believe we made it through all those hills and everything.
Do you know if they make armour in this place?
Oh, well, they're outfitting an army, so I would imagine they must somewhere.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I don't know where my head is. Lead on, sister.
Okay.
So
I guess
where are you taking Ren?
I was going to take him back to where my tent was because Dala's exhausted. But perhaps if he really wants to, she'll take him for a tour. We'll walk around the...
Okay, and as you go to do that, can you both make perception checks, please? In fact, everyone who's outside the tent can make a perception check at this point.
I've got my shield, so I've got advantage.
Ha
Finally!
Finally!
17.
Nice.
Also 17.
Nice.
13.
6.
23!
Ooh.
23. Why is my game log not giving me the thing? Okay, anyway. 23 for Goodale, 17, 13. Well, none of those are terrible. Adrik, you're obviously distracted. What are you distracted with, Adrik?
I think I'm just concerned about Zin. It's kind of forefront of my mind right now.
Right, fair enough. Okay. Very good. Everybody else, you see Braegan storm out the front of the tent, and he's sheathing a sword right now and strapping on some armor as he does so, and he just walks out of the camp towards the center of the island. Just storms off out of the camp, actually kind of in the direction that you guys are going. And he goes past Adrik, past Edryn, because you guys are waiting. Adrik, you're waiting for Edryn to get the bag of holding from Goodale. I assume that's what's happening. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I think we grabbed it together and kind of just started marching on our way.
Okay. In which case, you see Braegan. Well, Adrik, you don't see Braegan. Edryn, you see Braegan behind you, kind of crossing through the area that you're going. He's going a little bit off path, though. He heads out into the bushes and draws the sword and starts hacking his way through the undergrowth.
Do you think maybe we should make a slight detour, Edric, and just ensure that he's all right and doesn't get accosted by any Catoblepas?
Who are you looking at?
The king just stormed off through the bramble.
Aye, I'm sure he'd prefer to be alone, but we're reasonable company. Let's just ask him if he'd like it.
Yes, I suppose we should. We should probably go and catch up to him.
Excuse me, Your Majesty.
He turns and stops and looks at you.
Oh, you're off in quite the hurry. Terribly sorry. I'm sure you know this island's quite dangerous. Would you perhaps like some company?
Dangerous, is it?
Well, we came across a Catoblepas on our sojourn a while ago.
A what?
Large cattle-like creature. It shot Leith with some beam. It hurt him quite gravely.
Really?
Just in case, three's a party.
What are you two doing here?
Well, we were about to just do a small experiment of our own.
An experiment? Upon what?
Edryn, am I correct in assuming you were about to have a look at the crown?
Yes, well, we have this, the dial, as you are aware of, the giant ruins, and a dial that focuses primarily, I think it was on the sun Edric, the moon Edric, when we had a single one, that is.
Aye.
And we have an item that allows us to see in a different way, and I thought it'd be interesting to have a little look in case there is anything that we can glean from such a look.
I see. Where did you get these items from?
Well, we were... Did you recall when we were in court and I brought up how we lost Brixton?
Yes.
When we were in the necropolis, we were accosted by several undead, one of which was a wraith wearing a crown. Upon defeating it, it left behind the crown.
I see. Is this object cursed?
As well, I've not tried it on. Edryn, you don't. Edryn's seemed like Edryn the entire time, so I don't believe it is.
I've heard that wraiths are the souls of cursed individuals.
Yes. This definitely has, I would say, negative energies about it. Nothing particularly malignant has occurred, except for what one sees, but that can hardly be helped. But otherwise, I think so far, and as I've been able to take it off, and if I am unable to, then I have Edric to help me. I think we've got a pretty stable safety system for our little experiment.
I see. Well, I suppose you should do your experiment. I really just look for some time to myself.
That's quite all right. Here. And Adric's going to hand him the Blackguard whistle.
Okay.
So we managed to lift this off of some Blackguards on our way through Lithlian. Just in case, if you come across some trouble and you need some assistance, blow that and we'll hurry over, just to help out if need be.
I thank you, Lord Adrik. That is a very kind gesture. I shall
quite
keep
welcome.
that.
Nice little souvenir from the Empire to fall.
Yes. Thank you. Good luck then with your experiment. I will be off.
And you?
He heads off somewhat more carefully into the underbrush.
Right. Well, we've done our due diligence. Let's have a look-see.
All right, Leith, what are you doing?
Leith is... what is Leith doing?
Would you like to go and find Thorn and see if we can get some more alcohol?
Oh, alcohol's not really my thing.
Would you like to go play cards, or would you rather just go to sleep?
I'm not really one for vices, but you're most welcome to. I'm really rather worried about Maith's whereabouts, to be quite honest, and I should like to follow up on where he might be.
He is a powerful person. I'm sure he has got himself into all kinds of trouble and is able to get himself out of it.
I could hear the birds over your stream.
Beautiful.
Wow.
It feels like
you're on the island.
On the island, yeah.
Nyla and Leith, perception checks, please.
Okay, perception. Ooh, 15.
15. 18. Well, you both become aware of this female elf form step out from between the tents, further up through in the camp, just a little bit further up in the camp. And she seems to be very well dressed, although a little peculiarly dressed. You both will recognize her as Nomira. She has her hair twisted up into two buns that hang on either side of the back of her head. And she's wearing some somewhat exotic-looking clothes. And she turns and she sees you and walks in your direction. And she pulls down this face cloth under her
Nyla
chin.
bows and says, "My lady."
Yeah, Leith similarly bows.
You do not need to refer to me as such.
No, but it is fun.
Well, as long as you are having fun, that's what's important.
What can I do for you?
I've come to give you my condolences. I understand my brother is quite upset, and he does from time to time have these outbursts. I myself have been on the wrong end of these.
Condolences, not so much necessary, but I thank you for the gesture.
Of course.
Is there anything you think might be done to appease him in some way, or?
She stares off for a moment like she's listening to something, and then she turns back to you, Leith, and looks directly at you, and she says, "Perhaps your friend might apologize. That will do the trick, I suspect." She looks over at you, Nyla, and she says, "And if you insult my brother again, I'll kill you."
Yes. Very well, my lady.
I think that's a very fair request.
Very well. I hope you all have a pleasant day.
Just one more thing. Do you know the current whereabouts of Maith?
Maith?
Yes.
Oh. He goes away from time to time to far-off lands, to far-off places, other worlds. He may not be back for quite some time, or he could be back tomorrow. He could be back any minute. Hard to say.
Okay. Leith is going to go for a walk, take his leave of the two of them and say, "I'm going for some quiet reflection."
I do not feel his presence here in the world now.
In this world?
Yes.
I see.
It is possible that he is wandering. He does that.
Yes.
He does do that.
Thank you. That is most appreciated. I think I do need some time to myself, despite that. And Leith is going to wander off to a quietly secluded area of the island, and is going to try and trance and try to commune with Tosin.
Okay. As you're leaving, Nomira takes out a small bottle and holds it in her hand and sniffs the contents of it, smiles and puts the cap back on it again. and slides it into her bag. She looks at you, Nyla, and then she literally skips off between the tents.
Nyla winks at her.
She turns and smiles at you again, and then she disappears around the corner.
Goodbye, Mera. And Nyla will go and find someone that she knows to go have a drink and play some games with.
Well, I think Thorn is a good candidate.
Yes, I've got a bone to pick with her, considering she called me girl last time.
Right. Okay, so you find yourself in the mess tent, playing bones and picking bones with Thorn Garkai. And
What is with calling me girl? You know who I am.
Yes, but you're so infrequently here.
I'm insulted. You forget me so easily?
You all look the same. Elves.
Well, that is just racist. It's your turn.
What does this mean, racist? What is
This
this?
is when you have prejudice against people who are not of your species.
I have prejudice against everyone. What do you
Well, I
call
guess
that?
I guess that's called being an asshole,
Ah, then that is what I am.
which is fair. But I am also asshole, so it's fine.
Then we are two of these assholes.
Cheers.
And so she raises her drink. Okay. Good Dale, what are you doing?
And this brother is the mess tent, and I haven't been much further than this, but last time we were here, we seemed to spend quite a lot of time there.
And you're overhearing this conversation between Thorn and Nyla in the tent, calling each other assholes.
Oh dear.
But in the nicest possible way.
Well, I have to say, she's a spirited young thing.
Yes, do you suppose everyone from the Feywild is so spirited?
Well, they are kind of, well, different from us. In the sense that they're closer to spiritual things, I suppose. And being here must be kind of, well, it must be like being in the sufferance sometimes.
Yes, you're quite right.
Yes.
Right.
So where was this armour place that might be here somewhere?
It's probably occurring to you at this point that this is a camp of tents. There's not a lot of places to have a forge.
Okay.
This doesn't look like the sort of location where anybody's building armour.
Okay, so
Yeah.
how the hell am I going to get any armour, he says to her. I
Well,
can't
surely
go
the-
in battle like this.
You know what? Thorn might be the person best to speak with.
I look like a refugee.
Well, we all are of a sort on this island. Let's enter the tent and see if we can make conversation with Thorn about your needs.
All right. All right.
So you go into the tent, and Nyla and Thorn are there. Ha! This time I win! Ha ha ha! 2 silver!
2 silver for you, and 3 gold for me.
Why do you always try to steal it back like this?
Because it is fun, and you never wash your right side.
What?
You're left-handed. You tend to ignore your right.
She's right, you know. You do.
Your name is Ren, yes?
Yes.
You are the
lady.
brother that everyone is sacrificing for.
I am, my lady.
I see. Well then, come and sit with us.
I'm honoured.
Do you play?
Oh, do I play, Russell?
Do you play? Why not? Yeah, sure. You're a soldier. You've played every game under the sun at one time or another. Whether or not you're any good at it is another question. But you know, you play.
It isn't.
I've been known to.
You've been known to. Would
Yeah.
you like to play now?
With a couple of foxes like you? I'm not sure. I'll give it a go.
I like your attitude. My lady, would you like to join?
I will sit to enjoy the conversation, but I'm not much of a player myself.
Fair enough. It is easy. I tell you a secret. Fawn never watches her right side.
I think
And,
she's cheating.
Nyla pours Ren and Gadale a flagon from the pitcher that she's acquired.
Sure. Okay. I'm assuming Goodale is going to just leave it there on the table.
Probably, yeah, just because she's tired tonight.
Right.
It's still evening, isn't it? They haven't...
Yeah, it's early evening, yeah. In fact, it's still kind of this long, drawn-out twilight because of the two suns situation.
Right.
All right, so you're sitting there. Leith. Leith. You are meditating. Whereabouts exactly are we?
Just a quiet copse of trees somewhere on the island that's fairly removed from everybody else.
Okay, how far away do you think you've gone?
I want to keep within sight of the encampment.
Okay.
To be able to see light.
All right.
But
do you remember that there was a hill that you first met Thorn on?
Mm-hmm.
The very first time? Does that sound like a place where he might go?
That does sound like the sort of place he might go.
Right.
Yeah.
Overlooks another little bay where you arrived in your own boat once upon a time.
Yep.
Okay, so you're sitting up there and you're meditating. And you're concentrating on Tozen, yeah?
Yes, communing with Tozen.
Okay. Can you make an Arcana check for me?
Okie-dokie. It's a 9.
A 9. You seem a little bit distracted.
I do.
Yes. Leith seems a bit distracted, I think. There's
Well, there is a lot to think about, so...
Right.
I,
So the first hour passes and you don't have any great success making contact.
Yeah, he'll give it another try.
Another try? All right.
Yeah. Oh, that's even worse. That's by 1. That's an 8.
That's an 8, but was it a natural one?
No, no, it was a 7. It looks like a natural one
Okay.
on the dice, but
Right.
it
A
luckily
7,
wasn't.
okay. Well, you're sitting there and you're not having any luck at all when you feel a hand on your shoulder.
Oh.
And a red. You look to your side and you see a red velvet glove. And Maith says to you, "You seem a little distracted, Mr.
Oh.
Maith."
Leith will stand and then bow very deeply and say, "I was actually doing what I could to try and find you.
Well, I am here.
We returned to the island, and as you can see, and we have reported into Braegan of the details of our whereabouts and what we have found out, and so forth."
Very good, Leith. This is excellent. And you have returned from Hemeth Tirith, then?
Yes.
And you have
yes.
accomplished your task, I understand.
We found Dala's brother, Ren, yes.
Very
and
good.
he is with us
Excellent.
on the island.
Excellent.
So I'm feeling we are at a crossroads, as it were, as to where we should go and what we should do from here. And having you returned is, to me at least, the probably the answer to what we need.
And so, Leith, what is it that you feel this group of companions brings
Excuse me.
to the servants of the Fox? How do you see yourselves moving forward?
Well, we can certainly be of service to you in the. I understand you are wanting to forge an army.
Oh, Leith, you must understand that it is not I this army is for. It is for our
yes.
King Braegan.
For Braegan, yes, of course. And we We are absolutely on your side to be his side to be able to achieve to assist in achieving this for you. I was wondering if you had any thoughts on who you would particularly like to align with. We have had some breakthroughs with possible investigations into the orcs, which perhaps Dala might be able to elucidate you on.
I see. I see. I am interested to know what your thoughts are. I have a number of ideas myself, of course, but it has come to my attention in my explorations of the weave that you six are now the heroes of the story. You six will be the ones to continue this legacy.
Oh.
I am an observer from here. I have things to attend to in many places at once. I wish you six to form a council, as well as I suppose there is some word for it, as a group of companions, go forth and investigate the world. See what can be done. Advise our king. Teach him. He is young.
Let me be clear on this. So the ultimate goal here is to install Braegan as the rightful king of this land.
I shouldn't say that is the ultimate goal. Perhaps the penultimate goal. Perhaps even less than that. It is just the first stage. But if it can be done, and it should be done, it is what is right for this land. But there are greater things at stake, Leith Mistralath. Greater things yet.
Yes, and these are things we may not know, do not know.
There are keys located about the world.
Always are, yes.
In mysterious places. Some of them you are aware of. Some of them not so much. Some of them I am only discovering for myself through my own astral projections and scrying. I have learned much in these last few days.
The stones, you mean?
Yes.
I see, yes.
Yes. There are many inherent dangers in all of this. The first key for us, and I speak now figuratively, not literally, is to form this companionship into a solid fist or hand that can be used in any number of ways to shape the world. I see it, Leith, in you, the power of leadership.
I am honoured, my liege.
But you will have to do so with subtlety and care. Let them not know that you are their leader. Well, they may know, it's not important, but you do not have the type of personality that will fare well from driving nails into them. You do not need the lash.
I do feel my personal self is able to lead this group, but it's just a bit of self-confidence, I guess. Just that little bit more.
Perhaps. I'm sure at some time it will come more naturally. Perhaps you should learn from one like Wren, who is the captain of the Black Guard. He would have these skills, I'm sure. Perhaps he will teach you. Perhaps you can all learn from one another. Who am I to say?
I think that it is a very good way for us to become this this team, this how do you say it? Council?
Council, yes. In any case, you have many options to pursue. Vaingate, Vanderhold, Dagdagiel, the Angon Ma'ak, even. The Underworld, Abnog Gur, in the Underdark.
Yes.
You were marked by your patron. Were you not?
Well, yes, I was.
Perhaps that is a sign to be followed.
Where would that sign take me?
You have to consider this for yourself.
I have not heard from Tozen in some time.
Tozen will not often come to this island. He has duties elsewhere.
Yes, of course.
Do you remember when you met him? You told me of the place. It was on the mainland in the Lockhart Valley, in the forest, you said.
Oh, where the stone lies?
Yes.
We should head there?
That is where Tozen resides. I do not say that you should head there, only that is why he may not be always able to receive your call.
I do recall that was a Russell, just
out of game,
just a quick lore thing. I don't think I was near the stone, but Tozen made me aware of the stone, didn't he?
There was a glade, I think, with the stone in it when you met Tozen.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't. I remember the glade, but I do not rightly remember the exact positioning. It would take some finding.
Of course. You do not need to travel there, Leith, but if you did wish to speak with Tozen directly, that might be the course of action to pursue. Yes. If he does not heed your call sooner or later, then that might be the final solution.
I see.
In any case, Maith grabs you by the shoulder. He says, things are looking up. You have found yourselves together. You have collected Ren Talandaran, and now Goodale has served her own duty. Now everyone is safe. We can begin to look outwards instead of merely inwards. Now that we have survived, we can begin to thrive.
Perhaps we should return to the camp and talk to them all about where to from here, then.
Very well. Yes. Gather them about.
And as they're walking off and back to camp, Leith is kind of thinking about names for the group, and he goes, I do quite like Council of the Fox. I think it's quite fitting.
You see Maith's mouth turn slightly upwards as you walk.
Or Hand of the Fox, or Glove of the Fox. Ooh, Foxglove. We could call ourselves Foxglove. I think that's very good, actually.
Okay, so you guys are walking in, and Leith's off daydreaming about names for the group. Adrik and Edryn.
All right, so you sure you want to do this, or do you want me to give it a go this time?
I think I should. I think if it's all right, I should, because if you are unable to get off, then I'm going to be hardly any use of helping you out. Whereas if I can't take it off, you've got your firm hands to just clonk it off my head.
Oh, fair point. Here you go.
I take the crown, I wear it up, I go, Adrik, how are you? What is your linguistic capabilities with a giant?
I mean, talking to a giant? Never done
Yes,
it.
conversing.
I've closest I've come to talking to a giant. You were there actually. It's when we were in the beneath Vaingate, and those ogres were there.
Right. Yes.
But I've never met a giant in real life. No.
What about giant kin?
Ogre is the closest I've got. Not, what were you having in mind? As long as they speak giant, it's all much the same.
Yes. I was just thinking, Braegan was talking about help, and I thought if you wouldn't mind mammoths.
Mammoths?
Mammoths, aye.
Can mammoths speak?
No, those who ride them in Vanderhold, the giant kin.
That could be useful, actually. Aye, that would be brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
they're
would be brilliant.
very good. I mean, if they were able to turn the tide of a war, I think hopefully they'd at least be useful on this larger scale one.
Well, after our discussion with Thorn, I think you're right. Vanderhold might be a good place to keep Zin safe. So,
Yes.
Plus, there's the Fisher Rebellion. We've got a few reasons to go there.
Sadly, we do. But let's wait to find out. It's a good plan to have, but I think being hasty. Let's not be hasty. Is what I'm trying to say. Let's really think about that.
Edric's going to put his hand on Edryn's forearm. Before you put it on, when we were on the boat and we were attacked by that squishy bastard, you, and it was, turned into Hymir, you mentioned something about staying out of your nightmares. Now, you don't have to tell me, because I trust you enough to keep your secrets, but I'm here if you want to talk about it.
Thank you, Edric. Yes, I guess that's not really Hymir, but part of the reason why I've been wanting to investigate Vanderhold some more. I had a disconcerting dream regarding my son.
Your son?
Yes. He was covered in mud or blood. I can't quite tell. It was dark and sludgy.
And you've had no word from your wife?
I don't see how she can contact me. She doesn't really know.
No, that's a good point.
How to do that. I was kind of hoping I'd be able to get some sort of correspondence, someone to intersect letters, but it's not really, I guess, viable if we're going to be moving around all the time. So I guess a one-way is as close as we're going to get.
We could ask Maith if he could make some, or find some, what was it that Brixton had? Those stones that you could use to communicate.
The sending
Aye,
stones.
those. Yeah, if we could get our hands on those, it might be easier for you to keep a leash on home.
It's a fair point. Be quite a lot more direct.
Aye. At any rate, I don't want to bend your ear too much with me being overly concerned about you.
Oh well, it's nice to have someone who's concerned about you. Don't typically have that. Other than the physician at my house, but he always just went on about eating too much. I don't think it's more worried for his job. I think if I carked it, then he wasn't going to get paid. So
I must say you've really slimmed down on the few weeks on the trail.
yes, I think it's the lack of pork and chicken and potatoes and everything.
It suits you.
Thank you. And the cold, I think, helped.
Let's have a look at that, because I want to know as well.
Yes, not unlike the present. And I'll put the crown upon my crown, so to speak.
All right. So you take the Crown of Shadows. You're standing by the dial, is that right? The obelisk?
Yes.
Okay. And it's now about 9 o'clock at night. The second sun is beginning to set, and so there's a very long shadow from this obelisk. cast into the sort of purpley darkness around you. And you begin to lower the crown on your head. And, of course, the usual effects begin to take place as it settles on your crown. First of all, true vision sets in. Womp. And you find yourself perceiving into the astral plane. And you can see this huge aura, not far away, less than a mile, off to your left. Vaguely in the shape of a Catoblepas. Somewhere off, about, half a mile away. You can sense about you, there's this generally eerie sensation. Is there anything in particular that you're scanning for, though?
I think it was just a sort of looking for if it's able to give me true sight or into the astral plane, just the ability, just anything that is residual or present from the island that might guide us or give us a little bit more information about the island's goings on or upcoming stuff. I mean, especially with the blood eye in the sky, Edryn's a little bit looking for a few more portents if he's able to find anything that can give him a better sketch.
Can you make an Arcana check?
I can indeed.
Because as you're looking around in the distance, even with the true sight, the island fog seems to still be there. And as you look at it with the true sight, it kind of burns away. And then you can see out onto the lake, and you can see the moonlight reflecting off the lake around the island. You kind of have this sensation of being much higher up in the air than you are as you look around, almost as if you had taken on some almost giant-like form, like your own astral body was much bigger than you are. And glancing around the island now, you can see the camp, you can see the hills, you can see the giant wall that cuts through the whole island, and the hole in the wall near the shore where the goblin encounter was before you went into the Underdark, essentially that particular location. You can see all of this from your vast height that seems to have been obtained just by putting this crown on. And as the fog burns off around you, what did you roll?
I rolled a 19.
Excellent. You can see the reflection of several moons on the lake now, but it's astral light reflecting here. And so it has this strange, eerie quality about it. And you cannot see any shore beyond the island in any direction. You cannot see any physical features beyond the island in any direction. In fact, the lake itself, the water of the lake itself, has taken on a quality that is very much the same as the ethereal quality of the air, as if it was the astral sea. And you have this moment of sensation where you feel like the lake, it's like the island is floating in the astral sea and is somehow separate from the rest of the world. And because you rolled so very, very high, you have this moment where you realize that the island is a demiplane of its own.
Adrik. Adrik.
Aye, so sorry.
Okay, jeez. I thought I was alone there for a second.
You find yourself back into your body. You still have true sight, but you're not so high up.
I can't see the shore on the other side of the lake.
What do you mean you can't see the shore?
The lake just keeps going.
From your point of view, Adrik, you can't see the lake at all because you're in the middle of the fucking island.
Why? What do you mean you can't see the shore? Of course you can't. There's trees.
No, I mean...
Although as far as you can see.
as far as I can see, it's just. I don't want to say sea because I'm not. It's not making me I'm not feeling the dread, I guess.
Not
This is
feeling
nice.
All right, well, that's positive. Like, what are we calling this thing? We're going to call it the crown of therapy. Something to help you get over your phobia, maybe.
I don't know, but I think it goes beyond the physical. It's this island is kind of by itself in terms of.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of. You know how Maith is able to kind of jump around a lot.
Also,
not seen it
Max,
so, but I-
Max, can you make a perception check, please?
Of course. Also a 19.
Also a 19.
Hot rolls.
What you notice is that the stars are quite different here.
No, the constellations aren't quite right. Fully.
You recognize
they
some
look?
of them, but they're upside down and in strange parts of the sky.
Do they look the same to me?
Do they look the same to you? You can make an investigation check. Yeah.
Right. That is a 21.
They look a bit off. Not as much as Edryn can sense, but they do seem to be a little bit out of skew. I mean, would Adrik know? He's from underground.
He has spent the last 2 years above ground, though, and I think he spent the first, I'd say, week to a month almost entirely staring up at the sky because it's new and it's pretty.
Right. All right. So yeah, you sense that something's a bit funny going on here.
You know, now that you mention it, sky doesn't look right, but it's not. I can't see why it's wrong. You know?
I think that if you could notice this, you would have noticed it earlier, to be honest, Adrik, if that's the
Okay.
case.
Right.
Therefore, the reason Edryn is noticing it is because he's wearing the crown.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's a bit inconsistent. So I take it back. I'm sorry. I spotted my own flaws.
No, the stars look fine to me.
Right. Well, it's quite nice having a different sky to look at. Quite like this. It's
All
not
right.
as overwhelming as it usually is.
All right, I'll leave you guys there for a moment, contemplating the stars in the sky. Barry and Goodale and Nyla, you're still at a table in the camp.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
After
saying
you.
stuff. No, after you. Mine's
No,
a 10.
after you.
Would one of you two talk?
I
I was
insist.
just going to say that I remember having a great conversation with a girl named Adriel, and I miss her a lot, and I wish I could see her. You know what?
You're drunk.
A little bit, but don't hold it against me. I should go find Braegan. I need to apologize
You
to
should
him.
talk to him.
I need to apologize. You're right.
Are you sure that's wise? Perhaps it could wait until after dinner?
No, I think it needs to be done.
Nyla, make a constitution check, please. Saving throw.
Gladly. A 17.
All right, you're processing that alcohol fairly quickly. Very good, very good. Sobering up as you stand. I'm assuming you're standing.
Yep.
Okay.
Would you have a glass of water before you left, please?
Why would I have water when there's more wine?
Oh, no reason.
You were saying something, Ren. It would be rude for me to walk out on you when you are in middle of conversation. Please
That-
continue.
Yes, tell us more of your stories of the sufferance.
Really? I thought they were pretty boring, actually, but all right. what I was going to ask is, where does a man get armour from around here?
Well, you buy it, of course.
There is a few blacksmiths on the island.
There are no blacksmiths on this island.
Oh, there's no blacksmiths? I thought there were. Who is
Have you not noticed that we live in tents?
Oh, this is true. Who is Catatail? What was her name?
Huh?
Joanna would, Goodale would know that Adrik's a blacksmith.
This is true. I do know that Adrik is a blacksmith, but he doesn't have a forge here.
Who is Catatail? She always has really good items to sell. I thought she was blacksmith.
Who?
I'm talking to Thorn.
Oh.
You talking about her? She points at Goodale.
No. Catriel.
I do not know who you're speaking of.
I love my sister, but she couldn't be a blacksmith if you paid her to be.
She's got really long black hair, has a scar across her cheek.
Oh, by the way, sister, I'm sorry for getting angry outside there.
She's not on the island. She's in the town.
My
That's
sister's
who I'm
right
thinking.
here.
Not Catatail. Catriel. Triel.
Oh, sorry. I must be tired too.
But yes, you can find items here to buy and sell, and if not here, you can go to islands.
You can trade with the guards here, but truly, you do not need armor here, Ren. No one will attack. This place is safe. When you get to your civilization, buy your armor then.
Look at me now. You really want me to go out in civilization looking like...
You will be given clothes and things, of course.
Honestly, I think the crop top suits you.
Yes, you should probably remove that. It is not good for your dignity, Ren.
Really? You can... Yes, alright. I agree with the both of you. Maybe I'm having too much to drink.
No tribesman from where I come from would be caught dead in this cloth.
You should be telling us stories of yourself.
Boring, too.
It is not boring to speak of your homeland.
What kind of armor are you looking for, Ren?
I noticed you're changing the subject.
Yeah, why are you changing the subject? That's very observant of you.
What kind of armor are you looking for?
Good, strong,
We want
dependable armor.
plate armor, chainmail armor, splint armor. What kind of armor?
Plate.
Difficult to make, very expensive. Talk to Adrik Fogdye. He may help you. He knows about these things. Cannot hear you. Press the button.
That's the gentleman I came with.
Yes, the dwarf.
What do you call these things I'm eating?
I
They
don't know.
are,
Some elven hash.
I think they're like honey cakes. They're like potato and some kind of sweet thing. They're very good. They're very nice.
They are good.
As you're having this conversation, Leith and Maith are approaching down the hill.
He has arrived.
You're
He is
still coming up
alive.
with names, Leith, at this point?
I do like that, yes. Yes, I think that's very good.
Very good indeed, says Maith.
Nyla waves at Maith.
He nods.
I think I'm going to go find Braegan. I need to apologize.
Well, I think we do need all to have a bit of a meeting with both Maith and Braegan.
Whoa. I just got out of the sufferance. I mean, give me like...
He needs
of course.
sustenance rather than sufferance.
No.
Oh,
It
that
has
is
been-
so good.
It has been a long few days. I do understand that. So we can probably organize this for tomorrow. And
We can do it now.
will-
We can do it now. We can do it now.
Honestly, I feel like I will be in much more better mood now than later.
All right, let's go with it now then.
Sure.
Where is Edric and Adrik?
Sister dear, are you awake?
Yes, sorry. Yes, what's up?
No, they're going to have a meeting.
Oh, a meeting.
Maith is here.
Maith.
Yeah, and I thought it probably prudent that we all gather and formalize next steps.
So there is somebody who runs the show then. You.
Yes, Maith is the biggest person in charge. He is the bestest. And I might have insulted Braegan again. I'm really sorry.
I am merely the humble servant of our king.
And I was referring to Leith. That is your name, sir? Is
What?
it not?
Me?
Leith. Yeah, you.
Yeah. Yes.
You're the man in charge.
And he looks at Maith and goes, "Well, yes, I suppose I am."
Well, then you must have a plan.
I do to some extent, but I would like the input of the entire team.
Leith.
Now, see, that's the following of a leader to me. So, come on, everybody. Let's follow the leader.
Maith says, Leith, I shall reconvene with you in an hour. Gather your team and prepare your works.
So you are happy to meet with us tonight?
Yes. 1
Very
hour. I must make my own preparations. I have also returned from a long journey. I have not yet been to my quarters. And he walks off.
Very good, my lord. It has been much busyness for us all.
He
Aye, my lord.
steps into his tent flaps and disappears into his tent. Incidentally, for anyone that doesn't know, Maith's tent is one of those tents that happens to be bigger on the inside.
He doesn't look happy. Something bad happened.
How can you tell?
So,
It's what happens when you stick around for long. You read emotions, you read the room, you know how to react. I'm going to go find Braegan.
He has
before
been
you
traveling
go-
for some time.
Before
Not
you go,
having a
I
meeting
would
first?
like to give you a blessing of guidance. So,
Oh,
may my lady Sahini Moonbow guide you with your choosing of your words.
thank you. You are so kind. And I was gonna leave and go out of the tent
okay.
and try and find Braegan.
All right. So
Dala,
you,
do you think it's safe to leave her alone with Braegan? I whisper to you.
I think I should probably go and find Adrik and Edryn while we're at it, and Leith goes off as well.
right. So, Leith, you're heading off into the woods. Nyla, you're heading off into the woods, looking for Braegan. As it so happens, you're both kind of going the same general direction. So after about 100 meters, you kind of both realize that you're both kind of going this way.
Should
Excuse
we
me.
perhaps both go and find who
Are you
we need?
following me?
No, not at all. I was just going to go and find Edryn and Adrik.
That is a good idea.
I
We
mean,
should go find
we
them.
all need to gather. So, shall we both go and get them, and then go and get Braegan?
That sounds like a good idea, although I feel like I should apologize alone because last time I talked in front of people, he got really mad. But we should go and find Edric and Adrik. Their names are so similar.
Yes.
Do you ever get them confused?
No, not really.
And Nyla's gonna link her arms with Leith and like attempt to start skipping in a direction.
And Leith kind of just stays on the spot and kind of looks a bit confused and is like,
You lift your legs and we go this way.
"Oh yes, walking is absolutely fine."
Can you both
Okay,
make
walking is
perception
And-
checks,
and-
please?
And Leith kind of just unfills his arm from the
21.
Leith, perception check. Adrik
Perception.
and Edryn, perception checks. Edryn, you have advantage.
19.
Adrik, you're
Awesome.
well distracted for some reason. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
distracted.
Edryn, even with advantage, you failed this.
Hang on.
How could that possibly...
It says a 3, but I'm pretty sure I rolled a 7. There we go.
That's with advantage.
Yep.
Well, it makes all the difference in the world. Okay, so Adrik and Edryn, you're obviously very deeply into whatever it is that you're doing right now. Whereas Leith and Nyla, you both hear the sound of a whistle out in the
shit.
woods.
What is that noise? It
Very
is so
high-pitched. Yeah. Sounds
What
like...
is that?
Leith, can you make a history check for me?
12.
Just high enough because it's recent enough that last time you heard a whistle like this, you were being chased by guards down the streets of Hemeth Tirith.
Leith kind of has this in his bones reaction and goes, Blackguard!
It's like
Blackguard!
It's like when you realise that, there's
What?
a cop car right behind you and you don't know if you've done anything wrong, but it freaks you out.
It's
And
okay.
Leith just gets...
What's wrong? Why are you so tense?
There's Blackguard on the island.
I don't think there's Blackguard on the island. How would they find the island?
There must be. That's the sound of the Blackguard whistle.
In the distance,
Blackguard has magic and hide it.
you can hear this.
What?
That does not sound like the Blackguard to me.
That
That
does-
sounds like something scary.
No, it certainly doesn't.
Adrik and Edryn, you can make another perception check.
Oh, please. Oh, shit. Oh, no, it's an 11. That's
11.
less bad than I thought it would be.
Edryn, 10. You think you heard something, but you're not sure.
Oh.
Edryn is too caught up.
Now, Goodale and
Yeah, there's just this S
Galandel
full
ran
C.
Talendar, and I think you guys can make perception checks too, but the difficulty is going to be very, very hard because you're still back at the camp, aren't you? At this point. So,
Yes.
difficulties.
If there's something in the woods. Sorry, you go.
So I'm
Should
gonna-
I not roll? I don't roll with advantage this time, though, even though I've got my shield.
You
because
can
we're so
roll.
far away.
Actually, you can roll with advantage because of your shield, but it's also. And that is specifically perception checks, is it? The shield?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you can roll with advantage, but the difficulty is still going to be 19.
Ah, okay.
And
If there's
Oh,
something in
whoops.
the woods.
as for Gren, I'll roll his. Okay, Goodale, you failed, unfortunately.
He might have a.
It's a good deal fail.
We might
perception
have a
for-
little advantage because he's heard the whistle before.
He has heard the whistle before.
You know, a blackguard whistle. He's
All
heard
right.
one before.
I'll give you a
Yeah.
second perception roll for advantage.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you got a 17, so no, you didn't hear it. It's just too far away. It doesn't carry that far. So at this point, Nyla and Leith, you're sure of it, and you've heard the bellowing. Adrik and Edryn, you haven't heard the whistle, but you've heard the bellowing, but it's not that loud. You know, you haven't. You're
Leith,
obviously
If
distracted.
there's people in the woods, we should find them very quickly.
Is that a bellowing that I've heard before?
I think it might be.
Same question.
Because
Nyla, you've never
because
heard it
Leith
before.
is going to have
I've never
a
heard this
strong
before.
reaction to a Catoblepas if it is another Catoblepas.
Interest.
It sounds like it to you, Leith.
Leith is just shaking in his boots. He's like, "Oh, we're not going into the forest."
We have to go
Right
find our
now,
friends. We
without
have to go
backup.
find our friends, Leith.
Yes. We need Adrik and we need Edryn.
They're in
right
the woods. We have to go in the woods.
I'm going to get you all to roll for initiative, just in case. Once you've finished, tell me when you.
24.
Let me call them out so
Okay.
I can put them into order. Starting with Edryn.
Sorry.
No
9.
worries. 9. Leith.
14.
14. Adrik.
13.
13. Goodale.
Is not.
She's not here, so I'm going to put her at 1 because she's fallen unconscious. There you go. That's you, Galandal, Ren Talendar, and your sister just collapsed. So I guess I can roll for you anyway. Initiative for Ren is a 12. Nyla,
24.
24. Holy crap, I'm holy. And okay, so Nyla, what are you doing?
I'm trying to convince Leif to come with me into the woods to go and find our friends.
All right.
And our king.
Right. Go for your life.
Leif, we gotta go. We gotta go find our friends. If there is something scary... Also, we gotta find Braegan. He went in there before. We cannot let him die. You're muted. Cannot hear you.
As long as it's not in the direction of that forsaken thing, I will certainly go. We need backup.
It'll be fine. We won't see it. We'll be fine. We're gonna go this way.
So you're having this conversation on the spot right now, I'm assuming. You're not moving because he was holding you back from skipping.
Yeah.
Right? So you're still in one place. Okay. So just checking the relationships of people.
Have not
physically.
moved.
Okay.
Still in the spot. Cool. Nyla's trying to pull him towards. He's like, nah.
Right.
It'll be fine. I have magic. You have magic. We can use magic here. It'll be okay.
Oh, that's fine. Last time, one of those things nearly killed me.
Well, I have like cure wounds. That does sound really scary though, but we need to go find our friends.
Yes, let's go.
And we'll walk into the woods, but hopefully not towards the noise.
Okay, so you're
still in the direction that Braegan was like running, like storming into. Before.
Right. Well, Braegan was generally going in this direction. So was Adrik and Edryn.
Shit.
So
okay.
you're kind of going in the same direction. It's all kind of within about 45-degree arc of each other.
I'm going to cast Druidcraft on Leith and just have him hear beautiful birds singing and like lovely wind floating through leaves so he can't hear them.
Leith, you want to make a wisdom saving throw to see whether or not you can
I was about to say that would be a wisdom saving throw for me. 17.
Okay, obviously she's fucking with you. That seems to be the case.
It's fine. It's fine. We got to go.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Let's go.
All right. So you're dragging him along, and you still talking as you're traveling, or what? Or are you going stealth?
We need to be quiet, though.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, try to stealth.
Do you guys have your staves with you?
I always have my staff with me. I never put it down.
It does.
Okay.
And I cast pass. That's a good point. Pass without trace.
Right. That's what I was wondering about. So what that means is with pass without trace means that Adrik and Edryn don't get to make another perception check to see if they hear you coming.
Oh no. Sorry guys.
You walked into that.
Heart attack.
Okay.
So we're stealthing?
Yep, you're making stealth checks. Well, it's still a 21, Leith, with plus 10.
With plus 10,
yeah. 14 turns into a 24. Okay. So you guys are moving up, and as you're moving up, you hear another one of these coming from behind some trees. You see some trees in the distance collapse. And trees are shaking, leaves are shaking. You hear another whistle, at which point Adrik and Edryn, you can make another perception check. I'm going to give you disadvantage, to be honest, because you guys are obviously so fucking carried away with whatever it is you're doing. You clearly didn't notice this shit the first time. 7. I'm beginning to think this is
disadvantage, of course.
Disadvantage and a 10. Wow.
Oh, it could have been a 19.
I could have been a 14. Damn.
Disadvantage.
Yeah.
Could have been worse.
I'm beginning to think that the crown is having this effect on you. I'm beginning to think I have to add new qualities to this crown.
Oh yeah,
You're just so in the zone.
Shadowfell influence, right? So it's a radial aura-like effect, maybe.
Right, and
it's like
dulls...
being in VR. You're completely
Yeah.
surrounded by what's happening in your mind.
But it's also
affecting
affecting. It's affecting Adrik too, though. That's the thing. It must have a
Got
null
an aura.
It has a null field. Okay, so Edryn, Leith, and Nyla, you're getting closer. The trees are shaking. You can feel the ground trembling. There's another whistle goes off. And then you see Adrik and Edryn's standing in the middle of this little clearing, and there's this pillar there, and he's got this crown on his head. And what are you doing, Edryn?
I'm just kind of turning around and taking it all in. Like, he's just kind of basically enjoying the view, and for the first time, this is kind of a view he's actually enjoyed. He's
Right,
quite
and-
like this.
Adrik,
you
you've
have
got
the
the hammer
power.
out. Adrik, have you got your hammer out? Are you ready to stop Edryn from going crazy at any point, or?
Yeah, I think because I know about the Catoblepas, my hammer's out, but it's not at the ready,
Right.
so it's quite loosely at my side.
Right.
So,
Okay. So, what are you
Leith-
doing? Like literally doing, Adrik?
Oh,
Sorry,
I'm
Leith,
just
I'll come back to you in a second.
sorry. I'm standing and I'm asking Edryn to describe everything to me because I'm curious.
Right. So Edryn's describing stuff as, and Leith, what were you going to say?
Leith basically bursts into the clearing
Okay.
and goes, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? There's one of those things out here. Help us get that crown off his head. What are you doing?
What are we? What?
All right, here
There
we
is
go.
a very scary noise.
There's another one of those things that nearly killed me."
All right. Okay. Let's do this.
Crown coming off.
Saving
right.
wisdom saving throw for Edryn Monkoff.
Oh, thing.
Does this one have disadvantage this time, Edryn? Because this is like the third time you've done this, isn't it?
I don't know. I thought the DC just goes up steadily.
Right. What was the DC last time? You don't remember? I didn't tell you, did
I'm
I?
not the DM.
Okay.
You didn't tell me. You didn't tell me the
did I?
DC, so I can't remember.
So it could be 100.
I would like to wheel
be.
it. Also, his.
He got a 23, man.
Do you
I've
hang
got
on?
23.
But before you do that too, Nyla, you don't know that he's making a
True,
saving throw.
I have no idea what this is.
Right.
Never mind. Disregard.
Okay, so you rolled a 23. Okay, the crown comes off, no problem at all.
Thank you. Crowd of Shadows. Actually,
there we go.
right now, Edryn doesn't say that because he's not really thinking of the shadows. He just says astral crown.
Okay,
So
puts
he
it
puts it into the bag.
all right. And you put it into the bag, astral crown. At which point, Edryn and Adrik, you can make new perception checks, please.
Not a disadvantage.
Not at disadvantage.
Hooray. In the bag now, 16.
16. Oh my god, Adrik, why? Tell us why.
God, I wish I could tell you.
You're distracted by Leif sputtering and like standing in front of you,
Yeah.
yelling at you. You're just
Yeah,
like, why are you here?
I'm confused. Everything was fine.
Right, you've got this vague feeling there's something going on in the background, but yeah, not paying attention to that because these two have just turned up and it's far more interesting and important, obviously, whatever they're doing here right now.
Yes.
Okay, so Edryn, you've heard.
I turn to Edric. Braegan. Braegan.
What did Braegan
whistle.
say?
I
Braegan is
grab
here.
Adric, not to actually start dragging him, but I kind of just give him a little jostle to kind of get him in the zone, and I start chugging it towards the whistle.
Adric
Alright,
follows Edryn towards the whistle.
Nyla just goes and then runs after them.
Let's go.
All right, very well. So you go running towards the sound. Is that what I'm
Yes.
hearing?
Running towards the sound.
Okay.
We need to find Braegan because we don't want him to die.
All right. So you burst out into this muddy swampland area where you see this creature, this Catoblepas. And if anyone's not familiar with it, I urge you to Google a picture of Catoblepas, especially if you're in the audience, because it'll be far greater than my epoxy description. But in any case, I can try and describe it.
That is terrifying. I just
It's
googled
quite
it.
a sight to behold.
Yeah.
It's quite a sight to behold.
Yeah, I'm good. I really don't want that to be near me.
Well,
You
you
good?
ran you ran up this awful warthog beast.
Yeah, but we gotta save the king.
Right. So this massive four-legged hunchback creature with brown fur and this kind of strange cross between a horse, a pig, and a demon is standing leering over Braegan, who's standing trembling by this half-dead tree in the marsh, up to his knees in mud. This huge tail whipping behind it with this massive ball that looks like a very heavy looking mace on the end of it. And the smell that reeks. And as you catch a glimpse of it, Nyla, you realize that along its belly are teeth.
Don't like that. Really don't like that. How far away is he from me?
About 100 feet right now.
He's 100 feet.
Yeah. Are you still stealthing?
No, we're just running. We're running. I'm not stealthing anymore.
Right, okay.
I haven't cast Pass Without Trace. I'm booking it towards the noise.
Okay, so you're heading straight for it.
Where is my...
Okay.
I should be able to...
So Braegan at this point is standing up to his knees. He's got his sword in his hand, and he drops it. And it lands in the mud, and he's just standing there shaking in front of this huge creature. And it turns around and it looks at you guys, and then it looks back at Braegan, and one of its hoofs rises up over Braegan, over his head. But it looks back at you guys. At which point, Nyla, make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, God.
Russell?
Yeah.
16.
I meant to say, while we were running, as it got darker, I would have cast Dark Vision on myself, because if it's moving into twilight, I'm not going to be able to see anything. So
Okay.
while we were running...
Yep, sure, you can do that. You've got dark vision now.
Let's
Okay.
see.
Okay, that's cool. Excuse me while I just select some dice.
That's good, because I should try and work out what I'm going to do.
So, Nyla, you do have initiative.
I do.
So, you can...
How? So he's 100... Braegan's 100 feet from me?
He is 100 feet from you.
How much movement do I have? I have
30
30 movement.
Unless you dash.
So dash. Dash will take an action, yeah?
Actually, no, you're not 100 feet. I think you'd be a lot closer now.
I'd be a lot
Otherwise,
closer?
you wouldn't be making a saving throw.
Am I within 30 feet?
Yep, you're right on 30 feet.
Alright, I'm going to use a bonus action to Misty Step next to Braegan.
That's assuming you survive this.
That's assuming I survive this. I rolled a... Where did I roll? I rolled a 16.
Okay, you rolled a 16. That saves.
Oh, and I have guidance! But, I save it anyway?
It does save. It barely saves, but you just managed to save. You still take 24 necrotic damage.
Jesus Christ, okay. 24?
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright,
Welcome
that's fine.
to my world of hurt.
That's okay. Still gonna Misty Step next to Braegan.
Okay, so
As
you
a
misty
bonus
step
action?
over to Braegan. Yep, that's your bonus action.
And I'm a Winter Edryn at the moment,
Yep.
which means my enemy has to make a Wisdom saving throw or be terrified of me for the next minute.
Right.
And as an action, I'm going to cast Wall of Thorns and bring up a massive barricade in front of me and Braegan.
Saving throw. Okay, so being terrified of you subjects it to the frightened condition. The
Yeah.
frightened condition will give it disadvantage on a bunch of stuff. Basically, a frightened creature has disadvantage on ability checks, attack rolls, while the source of its fear is within line of sight. The creature can't willingly move closer to the source of its fear, so it can't get any closer to you, but it's 30
Okay.
feet away.
I won't do the Wall of Thorns, I'll just do the Misty Step thing.
Okay, so you do your Misty Step. It turns away from you and Braegan at that point anyway. In fact, you just basically Misty Stepped out of its line of sight as it happens anyway. So it starts turning towards the rest of the party. Leith.
How close is Braegan to the Catoblepas?
Oh, 5-10 feet.
5-10 feet.
It
so,
basically has him bailed up against a tree.
Okay.
And
fireball-
one foot over his head, basically, ready to stomp him. But
Okay,
now it's
Fireball is a bad idea.
turned
Can
away.
I keep the Wall of Thorns there then? If he's like 5 feet in front, I would have just been like, nah, fuck you.
Sure, you can do the Wall of Thorns.
Wall of Thorns. Where is my spells?
So Leith,
So this creates a wall of tough, pliable, tangible bush bristling from needle, blah, 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 blah. Basically, it is concentration up to 10 minutes, and it creates a barrier between the Catoblepas and me and Braegan, whatever
okay.
side he is on.
All right.
And he can't walk into it without having to do a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
And pretty much if he walks through it and successfully saves, he does half as much damage. Otherwise,
what's the
it's full
save?
damage. The save is against my spell, so
Yep.
save DC of 15.
15. Okay. Very well. And what would the damage be from your
7d8.
78? Well, you should roll those and give me the outcome.
Oh god. Okay. I'm gonna roll those.
All right. While you're doing that, Leith, what are you up to?
Let me.
31.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to. Damn it! I think I need to dash. How far am I from it?
How far are you from it?
Yeah.
You were running with Nyla, so you can choose anywhere from 30 feet upwards. 30 feet is the closest you can be at the beginning of this round.
Okay. I want to do something of considerable. Oh, it's not caught or anything yet.
Nope.
Is it? No.
Nope.
Okay, I'll cast hold. I'll plant my staff in the ground and cast hold monster on it.
Hold monster. Okay.
Yeah.
Does that work on very large creatures? I assume it does. I don't
Choose
see.
a creature that you can see within range. The target must succeed. It doesn't say anything about
No.
the size of the creature.
Cool. Was it a wisdom save or what?
Yeah. A wisdom save. Yep.
DC?
Attack save wisdom 14.
14. Okay. Fails.
So it is paralyzed for the duration.
Right. So it seems to stop moving. Very good. Do you have any bonus actions or other actions?
Yes, I'll pop a hex on it.
Pop a hex on it. Okay. So you're
It's
popping a
like-
hex in its ass. What are
It's
you?
like Leith's little pop a hex on it. Pop a hex on it.
All right. Very good,
Sorry.
Leith. Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. The fridge falls
No,
from the
that was
sky.
Steve. That was Steve. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Sorry.
Okay. So you pop a hex on it. What's the disadvantage that you're going to give it?
I'm going to give it wisdom.
Wisdom disadvantage. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you got up your sleeve? Nothing.
Nope. That's all my sleeves empty.
So your sleeves emptied. Adrik, time for you to fire your sleeves.
Brilliant. So I'd probably also be about 30 feet following these guys.
Yep.
I'm going to start charging towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Reach the end of my short-legged 25-foot thing. Use my action surge to dash the rest of the way.
Okay.
And then, as I'm in the process of doing it, I'm going to enlarge.
Right.
So I'm
Is that your
large
bonus
Adrik.
action?
That's my bonus action.
So action surge as an action would be you to get another action, and now you're using your bonus action, so you've got one action left, right?
I have my 2 attacks now.
Okay.
So now that I'm right up on it, I'm
Yep.
going to smack this boy.
All right, roll to hit.
Fuck me, that's a critical one with my Hammer of Thunderbolts.
Oh.
Man, these 2 sessions.
Oh. I feel that your Hammer of Thunderbolts slips from your grasp
Okay.
as you
so
sling it in the direction of the Catoblepas, and it flies off wildly. Due to some reason, what is it that caused you to drop the hammer?
I think it's the run. My hands are sweaty.
Okay.
Hammer of Thunderbolts has gone from my grasp.
Hits
So I'm going
it.
to pull.
Hits the mud and begins to sink.
Oh, shit. God. I'll have to get that later. I'm going to pick up my, grab my normal hammer, and I'm going to grab it in 2 hands, and I'm going to swing at it with that now.
Okay, so this is your last action, right?
Yeah, this is my last attack.
Okay.
Fuck off. This is an 11.
It hits its heavy, hairy hide and does nothing. It seems to be oblivious to your attack. Ren, you're not present. Catoblepas is presently paralyzed, so it does nothing. However, Adrik, you are within 10 feet of it. You need to make a saving throw, Constitution.
Cool. Does that involve poison or at all? 'Cause I remember
It
there was
does
something about
involve
the last
poison,
time.
actually. It does.
Cool.
It does.
So I get that with advantage.
Get advantage for that. Excellent.
That's a 23.
Very good. You are immune to its stench for the next hour.
Hey!
Okay, Edryn.
I'm going to use my action to cast benign transposition. I'm 30 feet away from Braegan.
Okay.
I'm assuming he wants to get out of there as soon as elvenly possible.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cast benign transposition, and we're going to swap places.
Okay. So you're going to land in Braegan's puke, and now you're standing behind the Catoblepas.
Braegan, but he's out of the fray. He's 30 feet away from the fray.
He's now out of the fray.
It's all right. We've got a wall of thorns between me and you. Between us.
That is also
and
true.
The scary monster.
Does the wall of thorns break the line of sight for
it does.
the spell? For Edryn's spell, does your spell count?
Oh yeah, you can see. All right. In that case, if I can't see him, in that case, if I can't see him, I'm not going to cast it. So in that case, I am going to. Where's that? Well, there it is. I'm going to rush up to it and cast. You know what? Actually, let's just double damage this thing. I'm going to cast Tidal Wave. So it needs to make a dexterity saving throw, which if it
fails, because
it automatically fails.
Yep.
So it is knocked prone.
Okay.
And I'll do 48 bludgeoning.
So the question with Tidal Wave, what exactly does it do? And is there any reason why it might smash the wall of thorns or hit Nyla or Braegan or anything like that? Any chance of that?
It does say the area can be up to 30 feet long, up to 10 feet wide, and up to 10 feet tall.
So the wall of thorns itself is 60 feet long and 10 feet high. So it's possible that it would hit the water, but then it might absorb.
It does say can be. It doesn't say it.
Yeah.
It doesn't say its dimensions are 10, 30, 10. It says it can be up to 10 and can be up to 5.
If you're going to knock a Catoblepas on its side, which is your intention here, and it is a large monstrosity, I think it needs to be at least 10 feet high.
Okay. It can be 10 feet high, but it can be up to 30 feet long.
Right.
It doesn't need to be 30 feet long.
And
I can basically just kind of smash it.
Does the water just come straight up out of the marshland, I guess?
I create it with a drop of water or with my wand. So basically, I can summon it as conjuration, so I'll summon it from the marshlands and just basically smack it.
All right. So if it's all right with you, then we'll describe it as such that the water comes pouring out through the trees, through the marsh, and forms this huge tidal wave that just smacks the Catoblepas on its side.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. And it does 13 points of damage?
13 points of damage. And
All
it's on its side.
All right. And it's,
if it breaks the whole monster with it, it's still got it on its prone.
So it's paralyzed and prone now. Yeah. Okay. Very good. That's Edryn's turn. Goodale's not here. Nyla.
She is.
It's me. It's my turn again.
No, Goodale's not present at this particular combat. Neither is Ren.
Oh, of course.
So give me an idea of what this battle map looks like. So I've got this massive wall of thorns between me and Braegan and the scary thing.
Yep.
Where was Braegan in regards to the scary thing initially? Can we just run
initially? Well, basically, you were right under it, but now you've got a wall of thorns surrounding you, cutting you off from it and your friends who are on the other side of it now. So, Adrik and everybody else is on the front end of it at this point, and you're at the butt end of it now because it's turned around. Although now it's on its side too, so it's collapsed. You've heard it collapse. You would have seen its massive head over the wall of thorns and its arched high humpback as it tipped over. And you would have heard the water smash through, and probably water would have come through the wall of thorns, maybe not destroyed it, but come through it too. And leaked, poured down through the wall on you guys to some extent, you and Braegan.
So we just had some water splash us.
Yeah, Braegan looks really sick.
He looks really sick?
Yeah.
Okay, I will cure wounds Braegan.
Okay.
At Wait, hold on. What does necrotic damage not work well with healing spells? I'm trying to remember them. Never mind. I'm going to cure wounds Braegan at 2nd level.
Okay. He continues to throw up.
Shit. Even with 16 added health?
Yep, because he's poisoned and you need lesser restoration.
Oh, I have that. God damn.
Well, you could use that instead if you so desire.
Can I do that instead? Can I do
Nyla
that
probably
instead?
knows the difference between these two things.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
a lesser restoration instead.
All right, so you're going to switch them out. Very good.
Yeah.
Lesser restoration. Okay, so Braegan's looking a bit better as you lesser restoration him. Do you have any bonus actions or other actions that you'd like to take?
Oh god. I'm going to take the. No, I'm not going to do. I'm just going to whisper him. We got to get out of here. We got to go this way.
He looks up at you.
Take my hand if you want to live.
Okay, he grabs your wrist, and you start dragging him off towards the forest, basically away from the clearing. All right, very good, Leith.
Can I see through the wall of thorns to the?
You can make a perception check.
The
Difficulty's 15. You can see the creature, Leith.
20.
You can see the creature. That's not
Yep.
the wall of thorns is between the creature and Braegan
Yep.
and Nyla. So, yeah, okay. You see Braegan and Nyla start moving off away from the creature now,
Okay.
and away from the wall. The wall stays there, I assume.
Both of the spells that I cast last turn were concentration spells. I do apologise for that oversight. So I'm not going to have cast the hex.
Okay, take it back.
I am going to again plant my my staff into the ground
Mm-hmm.
and
You
cast
shall not
Cone of
pass.
Cold.
All right, Cone of Cold. And what do I have to make a saving throw against?
It's a Constitution 14 saving throw.
Okay. I'm assuming I get disadvantage on this roll because I am currently prone and paralyzed.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good to me.
Hang on, I think I
Fails Dex and Strength saving throws.
Sorry, I accidentally pressed the damage already. So
That's okay.
there's D8s everywhere.
The difficulty was what?
Constitution 14.
14. Okay. Fails.
42 points of damage.
What do you wager happens to this Catoblepas when you hit it with a Cone of Cold?
It probably dies. Probably freezes. If it dies, it freezes into place.
I think so. Very well.
Yeah. It actually says that on the spell.
Okay. Very good. It freezes into place.
Frozen
Excellent.
statue.
So there you go. Catoblepas stead. Initiative over. Combat no longer.
Adric's
done.
gonna go start rooting around for his hammer.
Okay, Edric, you can make an investigation check.
Oh god, if I lose this fucking hammer. Give me a good roll tonight, please. Oh, fuck me, it's a 9.
Okay, so 2 minutes go past. But you found a point in the marsh where the water is quite deep.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're still rooting around for your hammer, all right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Goodale, you've been out for you had a bit of a cat nap, and I'm assuming Ren picked her up and took her somewhere. Ren,
Yeah, I took her somewhere
to a tent,
to a tent and tried to make her comfortable and sat there and
right?
waited.
Right. Very good. So you sat there and waited. Okay. And Goodale, you've had another vision. Of course. And so you've returned from that space. In this
Was it
vision, yeah.
Was it a Milford vision?
It was not a Milford vision. It was a vision of the interior of that chamber, in which there was a large, giant portal gate. And in there, you sensed the presence of some sort of guardian.
guardian. A benevolent, happy guardian, or a...
Because guardians are always benevolent and happy.
Yeah.
More like the sort of guardian that will tear your arms off.
A sinister guardian.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, oddly enough, invisible. But yet its presence seems to be... what you believe... You believe this guardian to be loyal to Sehanine Moonbow. But that's the vision, basically. This is the gate. You see the gate. You've seen this gate before already, right? And it's the same gate, but now you're getting more detail of it. You're seeing up close parts of it that you hadn't really noticed before. Some of the inscriptions. The room itself is amazing and immaculate, despite all the bits of debris that are literally floating around the room because of the lack of gravity, because it's basically in space. There's a throne in this room, and there's this shimmering movement that's happening through the space. That is what gives you the impression there's a guardian here. And so you just somehow just know, as if you have foreknowledge, that this guardian here is somehow loyal to... In fact, in the vision itself, while you were having the vision, the guardian was loyal to you. And then you wake up, and Ren is standing over you in a tent in the campsite.
Are you okay, Gadale?
It happened
Dala?
again.
Are you okay?
Yes.
What
Just,
happened?
I was in a room that I'd been in before with Adrik and then the others.
He looks for paper straight away and some writing implement.
Okay, I'm going to make an investigation check for you to see if you can find such a thing, because it's not necessarily just floating around.
I know.
But you do with a 16.
Right,
Very good.
Tell me slowly.
I was in the room where we lost Milford. He went through the portal in this room.
Oh, no. It wasn't that room. It wasn't that room.
Oh, not that room. Oh.
This is a room inside a moon.
Oh, inside a moon. Oh. Okay. But it was so familiar. Was it the room with the arch?
Yeah.
Ah, that room. Right. Yes, I was in a room inside one of the moons, one of Sehanine's moons.
Okay.
And there was a guardian there, but I couldn't see it physically, but I could tell that it was there, and it was loyal to me.
Guardian, loyal to you. How did you know he was loyal to you?
It was just a sort of feeling. I just knew it.
Last time you told me you had a feeling, we fell in a trap, and you were quite correct, but I remember that from when we were kids. Yeah, go on, I've got it. Right,
There was a throne there.
Throne? Left or right?
But, Ren, it was loyal to me, and yet it also had a sinister sort of feeling to it. Isn't that bizarre?
Not really, because it would be sinister because it's waiting for perhaps someone that shouldn't be there. It spent its life guarding something, remember?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I think. I could be talking through a hole in my head. Okay, all right, now continue. Keep focused.
There were runes about the place.
What did they look like?
What did they look like? I was a bit distracted by the presence in the room.
Yeah, I can understand that. Right.
And things were floating. I suppose that
What things? Can you remember what things were floating?
A lot of debris.
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 part-
What kind of debris?
Well,
Stone
bit-
debris?
Yes, moonstone debris. I suppose it must have been bits that were shattered when the temple broke up.
And he's writing this all down.
Right. Okay.
And I mentioned that there was a throne there. Yes, I did.
Okay.
What there? Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yes.
All right. So you guys are making notes on Goodale's dream. Okay. Do you do anything after that immediately, or shall I go back to the others?
I'd like to go and get me some clothes. Because I've been in the same clothes for the last...
Right. Okay. I think by this time probably a servant has come to you with some clothes, and you've discovered that you've got a room here, and the seat at the bottom of your bed is a chest, and when you look inside it, you find that there is clothes, there is an allowance, there are all sorts of just things that you need for getting along. There aren't any weapons or anything like that. But the servant will come to you at some point, perhaps now. Sir, is there anything else we can supply you with?
I think it's sufficient, thank you very much.
Very good, thank you, sir.
Unless you happen to have armour on you.
I shall see what I can do. I cannot promise anything, but I shall look into
Excellent.
that.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Retires. Okay, so you're getting that stuff sorted out. Meanwhile, Nyla, you and Braegan, you're pulling Braegan off into the forest, and he's sort of stumbling with you.
It's alright, we got this. We gotta keep going. We gotta get you safe.
You saved me.
Of course I did.
We were going to have a little talk, you and I.
Yes, well, I'm pretty sure that could probably wait until we're not running for our lives.
He tugs on your arm. Sit down.
Okay?
You cannot talk to me like that. Not in front of them. Not in front of the court. I don't care what you say in front of me by myself. I don't care. But not in front of the court. You can't undermine my position like that. I won't have it.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Maith will have words with you. I
Yes,
swear.
I'm sure he will. Listen, Braegan. I'm sorry. I forgot where I was. I was tired. I was aggravated. And you were pissing me off.
Well, I'm sorry if I pissed you off.
And I'm sorry for pissing you off, okay? It's what happens. I'm not very good with filters, okay?
What are you
I'm
people
sorry.
like in the Feywild? Your court, your Winter Queen, is she like this? Could you speak to
no.
her like this?
Oh, hell no. She is so much more scary than you.
Well, I
Honestly-
don't like the feeling of being emasculated by a girl.
Really? That's what you're focusing on? The fact that I am a girl?
It's not important. Let's go.
Well, apparently it's important enough for us to sit down.
He stops and turns around after getting back up again.
Listen, I want you to be king. I think you will make a wonderful king one day. But you're still learning. And disagreeing and throwing people out of court with someone who argues with you is not going to get you there.
Every time you do this, Nyla, you make me look like a fool. And not only that, but then everyone else thinks they can treat me like this as well.
No.
And if we do ever obtain Hemeth Tirith, what then? Everyone will simply just walk all over me because they think that it's okay.
That's not what I was doing. I was simply pointing out that you need to have different strategies with different people in order to get allies. I did not
agree.
mean to insult you.
You're
and I
right.
did not mean to undermine you. It was purely that you were not listening. And part of being a great ruler
Right.
is to be a good listener as well.
You were right. But you also need to learn some diplomacy, I feel.
Yes, honestly, I really do need to learn that, and maybe you can teach me. But right now, I need to get you safe and back to camp, and then I need to go and save my friends.
Let's go. And so you guys run off back to the
Yeah.
camp, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. And you can have inspiration for that scene.
Yay!
That was really cool.
All right, Leith, Edryn, Adrik, Catoblepas,
Splat.
frozen.
I'm still looking for my fucking hammer.
Investigation
You
check
were right
for you,
there,
Adrik.
Adrik.
I lost grip of my hammer and I'm having a hard time finding it.
Alright,
is
well,
that-
if you need any help, give me a holler, alright?
Yes, I'm happy to help you look. If you,
I'd appreciate the help, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, so with help, investigation check, advantage.
Right, clicky. There we go. Come on, please. Oh, and 23.
Was that the first or the second of the two rolls?
That was the second.
All right, in which case, Leith, you find it.
oh, it's over here. It's just beside this tree. It's probably a little bit difficult to spot because, the wooden handle against the tree.
It was in the mud. It
but-
sank into the mud.
I can't.
That's all right.
This
Thank
is a
you.
bit
Leith.
embarrassing.
No. Losing your hammer in the middle of a fight. Now that's embarrassing. Give me a second. There we go.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Edryn, can you make a perception check, please?
Of course. 10.
Okay. The wind is blowing.
There's just one more thing I'd like to do before everything kind of wraps up. Leith, it strikes me that I've made something for everyone else, but I've not made anything for you yet.
Oh, no,
I've got an
there's
idea.
no need. There's no need, really.
And Adrik's gonna walk up to the Catoblepas,
Oh, yeah.
and he goes, Leith, blunt or sharp?
What, blunt?
Blunt, all right?
Yeah, yes.
Adrik's going to walk up to the tail and he's going to pull out his hand axe and he's going to start hacking the club off of it.
Okay, but it's really big, right? It's
How big is it?
the tail is like bigger than a person. Like it's huge. It's a
But it has like this large clubby thing at the end, right?
yeah, which is the size of a person.
Oh. And then when I get there, I'm like, you know what? I take back the question. It's much too large for what I intend. And I'm going to go up to the tusks and I'm going to try to rip one off.
Rip it off, okay. You
Or
can
like,
make it-
get it off without it shattering in my hands.
Okay. All right. So it's going to take a bit of work and maybe a bit of carving in there to get in there and loosen it up, and then maybe even hammering it out once you break it off deep into the bone. And this might take some time. So what sort of craft roll can I have you make?
Well, I'm proficient in mason's tools and smith tools. And
Okay.
calligrapher's supplies, but that's not going to really work here.
We'll try a smith's tools roll, I think.
Okay, so that would just be, what, strength with my proficiency mod, or just my proficiency mod with strength?
Well, see, the thing is, this is not really smithing. I think it's just
Oh.
a strength check. I think it's just a strength roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the wrong button. Bollocks, that's a 9.
Yeah, it's well in there.
I cannot win with my rolls tonight.
Yeah, these tusks are deeply embedded in its skull. You carve back some of the flesh to get to the tusks, and you realize the tusks go all the way back into its head.
Honestly, Adrik, there's no need.
You
know,
might
I'll-
be able to hammer them off.
I
But-
really don't want to be reminded of these things. They've
Why?
been quite the thorn in my side.
That was you defeated our nemesis, something that almost laid you low. That is something to be proud of.
I'm certainly proud of it, but let's just hold on to the memory if that's okay.
All right, if you wish.
Yes, I'm not one for trinkets really, but I do appreciate the thought though. It was wonderful of you to consider me.
All right, that's not a problem. That's not. I'll find something else for you.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
Let us get back to camp.
Edryn, what are you doing while this is all going on, by the way, Edryn?
Just keeping an eye out, nodding as in agreement, but mainly just kind of keeping an eye on it in case it does jump back up, or we hear another Catoblepas moaning, or some goblins charging over a hill.
Right. Okay, so you can make another perception check, and seeing as you're being so thoughtful about it, I'll give you advantage this time.
Ooh.
You know what you're looking for.
I got a 2. I mean, I got an 8.
An 8. Okay.
On advantage.
I think that's
my
really
Legion's rolls have been bollocks
that is
tonight.
pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Pretty terrible indeed. Okay, well, I think the stink of the Catoblepas must be really kind of making you a bit ill, and it still smells terrible, and it's still, if you stay here any longer, I'm going to make you roll Constitution saving throws.
I think I agree.
Yes, yes.
Worse than the fish markets, really.
Just as you did that, the Catoblepas being dead, it makes this god awful noise. You know how dead bodies make noises from time to time, even frozen solid.
Even frozen. Yeah.
Did it poop itself? Is that what happened?
Something
It's
like
just
that.
doing what dead bodies do, man.
Yeah.
Gross.
No, let's go.
I really think yes.
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
I thought pickled crab was bad.
So you're heading back to the camp. Cut back to the camp. So everybody arrives at the camp after a certain period of time. All of their various bits and pieces have been done. Whatever arrangements that you need to have organized, I'm sure you managed to achieve, and you find yourselves eventually, after about another 20 minutes, at the entrance to the main pavilion, whereupon there will be a meeting with Maith and Braegan and Nolmyra and whomever else, including Thorn, possibly some others. You see Bran actually there as well, who you've met before. You see Cariel as you enter.
Cariel.
Cariel was the ranger who was following you and had the foxtail that she gave to you in Lithlian.
Oh, right. Yep.
She's also the one who went off looking for the rector of the Sufferance, and fairly quickly, it wasn't long after that the rector, what's her name, Ilanus, found you at the tea house. So that's Cariel. So yeah. Very good. So you enter this pavilion, and Maith welcomes you all, and so does Braegan. Braegan's people are fawning over him at the moment, and he's like, no, it's fine. Please stop. It's enough. I'm fine. They saved me. They did a most commendable job, all of them. They must be commended. And Ren and Goodale, you're coming in here. This is the first you've heard about this. Nyla, what are you doing? Are you near the king at this point, or?
I'm probably near the king and just like rolling my eyes at all of these fauners, but also just like smiling that he's in his element.
Nyla, can you make them stop, please?
I'm sorry, it's above my station. I feel like this is exactly what you
You're
need
not
right
going
now.
to start this now.
All right, girls. Braegan is the king. He does not need you fawning over him. He already has many healers. If you would like to support the king, just go stand over there and watch like the admiring subjects that you are.
Or you could just subscribe over here and press the follow button and go to our Patreon, click the bell, check out our YouTube channel.
Adoring subjects, please subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. We love your work. Right. Does anybody do anything or say anything or have any questions?
Goodale might just use her sending cantrip just to say, My lord, you appear well, but if you need any further healing, please do seek me out, or send for me.
He looks up at you and nods, and responds, "Thank you, Goodale. Your assistance is most appreciated. Your companions have just saved my life."
Excellent.
So you come in, all right, and you are each seated on a little, not even a little, but a large seat of your own, like a stool, but it's like a folding chair that is very comfortable, in a kind of a horseshoe shape. The front is Braegan. Next to him is his sister Nolmyra. She's sitting there, looking around at each of you. Maith is there. Thorn, as I said, is there. So I have gathered you here tonight for this meeting because it feels that finally we have achieved something that we had not before. Some sort of unity is coming together here, I feel. And I think it is imperative that you, as a unit, this group, this... What did you want to call it, Leith?
I was going to suggest that we call ourselves Foxglove. Very appropriately, we are as one with the servants of the fox, but also we are quite the poisonous, hard-wearing plant that is commonly found about the place.
It's
I
not
have
a bad name.
no particular objections to whatever you wish to call yourselves.
I did have alternatives: glove of the fox, or hand of the fox, or.
I do like Hand of the Fox, says Braegan. Personally.
Well, I'll turn to the rest of the group and say, what do we prefer?
Honestly, poisonous flower sounds great, but also hand of the fox. It's not so bad. Maybe like
I'll
flower of the hand.
A hand can
Rin-
become a
Rin-
fist.
What about the foxy flowers?
Rin puts his hand up.
Sir,
May I speak, my...
of course,
Rin?
my lord, please stand and deliver what it is that you wish to say.
I have only been here for a little while, so excuse my words if they offend. But I think Hand of the Fox is good because do we not represent our king? Are we not merely an extension of his hand and his power?
Are you saying we're going to be kind of like the hand of the king?
I would not be so bold.
I don't think we should be so presumptuous out in the rest of the world. That's probably going to cause more trouble than it's worth. I think acknowledging the fox is a good thing.
Maith steps forward. He says, if you will forgive me, Lord Mistralath, for interrupting your diatribe, I feel that the word fox itself may be an issue out in the world. There are those that have heard of the servants of the fox.
I see.
What about the secret sex?
I'm not sure that it matters presently what the name should be for your society. In any case, the mission is this.
Oh, yes.
By nightfall tomorrow, I should like to see you return to the world, this time as a cohesive unit, whereupon your mission will be to spend several months, if not longer, looking and searching out allies, making alliances, and forging ties that we can use in the coming conflicts. We will, of course, have resources for this. The ship that sits here on the bay, you, of course, brought it here. It is still yours. It is your ship. If you wish to have it returned to you now, of course, we have negotiated all of these matters in the past, I believe, yes?
Yes, thank you, my lord.
Therefore, you will have gold and other resources at your disposal. If you wish, we can talk about other things too. But I think that we need to know the situation in places like Vaingate. We need to know and understand the political situation of Vanderhold. We need eyes on Dagdagiel. We need to send someone to meet with Kagi Mingal. All of these and more.
Should we perhaps split up and go and try to find, try and reconnaissance on each of these? Or
I considered this, Mr. Lath, and it is an excellent idea. However, I feel that keeping you together is more important. You have a knack for defending one another and supporting one another in times of crisis.
To
Yes.
keep
It is-
each other out of trouble.
It is very
Yes.
commendable. Nyla herself here has spent some years operating alone. Now I should like to see you, Nyla, learn to operate among a team.
It will be very difficult, but I accept.
Thank you. Your skills will vastly fortify their abilities, as they too will cover your shortcomings.
She has
That is
proven
fair.
she has proven herself to be a very valuable member of the group. So your approval it means a lot. Thank you.
I have considered the matter of leadership on this subject, and it has been my feeling that Leith Mr. Lath has been a member of our order for the longest, besides Nyla, and therefore he should be the leader. However, before I make that such an official thing, I think that you as a group have operated admirably well without any position given, democratically and in ways that seem to defy any structure. If that continues to work for you as your preference, then consider it. But I should say that for now, Leith is your official contact with the Order of the Servants of the Fox.
My lord, it would be my honor. We do work very well together as a collective, but I am more than happy to be the go-between for the servants of the Fox, and
Yes, Leith.
the hand of the Fox. I'm not going to use that as an official title, but that is what we are.
Very
We'll be
good,
happy.
Leith.
Be
And
very happy for him to be the Leithazel.
in this matter, then, Leith, I expect you to exercise great judgment and wisdom in choosing the correct members of your society, your hand of the Fox, for the correct mission. So whomever seems to be the best leader for any given circumstances perhaps should take the lead in those particular circumstances.
I am to delegate. I understand. Yes.
Very well. How you run your hand shall be your business, and we shall not interfere.
We are honoured to serve you, my liege.
You do not serve me, Lord Mr. Lath. You serve the realm.
We are honoured to serve the realm and the king, the future king, and all it may become.
The future king is the realm. But very well.
Yes.
Nulmira sits there watching all of this. She's twiddling with a stick presently, turning it over in her hands, observing each of you. She doesn't say anything.
Can I make the twig grow some daisies?
If you want to.
Yep, I do.
She looks up and looks around at you. She nods at you. She puts it into her little bag. Very good. Does anyone else have any questions, says Maith?
I have something to say that I don't quite understand, but you might all have the answer for me. I was in the sufferance, and I think this is important. He's a bit, because
Flustered.
He's the new boy in
Right.
town.
Yeah.
I was in the sufferance and doing my syllabus and meditating on it when I had a vision of men in armour, elves. I'm not sure, there could have been other kinds of beings, but there was a phoenix on their armour, a phoenix with a tear in its eye. I did not understand it, but it became important to me for some reason. But I thought someone here might understand it.
Okay. Everybody can make a history check.
14.
4 for
19.
Nyla? That makes sense. Nyla hasn't been around Sidario that long. Sorry, who else got what?
17.
17.
19.
19. Leith, did you get
14.
14? Goodale.
19. And also, I think Goodale had a religion check on that, on Wren's Island.
Right. Edryn and Goodale, you two particularly have at one time or another heard a reference to a now long defunct order from the second age of the elves called the Order of the Phoenix, and that symbol may well have been their symbol.
And Lord Maith, was there not an order from the second age that had something to do with the phoenix?
The Order of the Phoenix, they were loyal to the first kings. Guardians and soldiers alike. This is something that you have come across, Wren, in your studies perhaps, that came back to you in your sufferance.
I have never seen it before, my lord. I promise you.
Then it came purely from your meditations.
It would seem so.
What happened to the Order of the Phoenix exactly, if you know Lord Maith?
They suffered a demise at the hands of Israel, the Lich King.
Right.
Was I wearing a uniform, Russell?
Oh yeah.
I was wearing a uniform.
So this was a life, a past life. As an elf, of course, it is not uncommon to have flashes of one's past lives.
Absolutely. But I thought it'd be something that I should report.
Lord Maith,
Then perhaps you should consider this, Leith. Perhaps you should talk to Wren of this. Edryn.
the defeat they suffered at Israel would happen to be the same battle where there were skeletons at a walled-off city of ziggurats and a giant bone golem creature as well.
He looks at you. Well, when I say he looks at you, he's, of course, his eyes are covered. But he turns towards you. This is most curious. Mr. Montcoff. Where do you find this information?
Similarly, in the exact same way, Bren has found his through studies. Although I think Bren said he didn't find his through studies, but I think it must have been a overlook.
I see. Nyla.
Just a question. Is this meeting in front of everybody, or are we just like in a secluded place with Maith and Braegan?
This is in a tent, and there are quite a few people here. Yes, this is the court.
Nyla will hold her tongue.
Would Nyla like to make a wisdom saving throw to hold her tongue, or is she going to just hold her tongue? It's up to you. I'm not.
I will make a wisdom saving throw, and I will use the D4 that Dale gave me ages ago.
Okay.
So they're 13 plus. Yeah, 16. She's biting down on her lip real hard. She's not saying anything in front of people.
Very, very good. Very well, says Maith. I think that we should leave you now to consider your planning and your mission ahead. I will be available in my tent if you need to speak to me privately.
Thank you, my lord.
Lord Maith, I don't think you quite answered my question. Was that the same battle, or are they two different occasions?
He looks back at you. He says, I believe you will find this was the same said battle, yes. The same war.
Glad to know that there's a connection between information.
Tell me more of this vision that you had, Montcoff.
It was the wars, ziggurats, and giant bone golem. It wasn't necessarily much more detail other than.
Were you upon one of the walls? Where was the location of the vision held?
I felt somewhat above, I think. It wasn't
Maith
on. I certainly
steps
wasn't on
over
the
towards
walls.
you, Edryn, and he goes to put his hands on your head. He says, may I?
Purely because you asked this time, yes, please. Yes, you may.
And he removes his gloves. And his hands actually look quite old for an elf, which, as we all know, means he's quite old. And he puts his hands on your head. And after a moment, he literally just steps back and drops you. You are not an elf. How can you have such visions?
Was that an elven vision then?
This is not a vision of your past. I must away. And he turns and quickly leaves. Nyla's frustrated, I see.
Yes, but it's fine.
Braegan
She
says,
was-
well, you seem to have gotten under his skin, Lord Montcoff. What did you do?
Yes, a lot of interactions with people in court seem to end that way with me.
You joined the club.
Nalmaya gets up and wanders off and grabs a cup of wine as she does so, pours herself a large cup, looks over her shoulder and holds it up to you guys and leaves. The court begins to dissipate and they leave you here with just yourselves. And
Gather around, everybody. I think we need to begin making plans before we head to bed. Would that be a good idea?
Hey.
Before we do anything, can I ask, what happened?
Oh,
Obviously
there was a big scary monster in the forest, and we saved the king's
yes.
life.
Oh, Leith killed it. Did bloody well.
Well, yes. The staff is very useful.
Nah,
Did-
a staff is just a staff until you use it.
Not true.
Indeed.
Staffs
So-
are amazing.
so
Mine
is
is very powerful.
Can your staff wield itself?
It can turn into a tree.
That's not what I asked.
So the king did not have his personal guard with him?
Barry, camera.
No,
The king
he
did not have his personal guard with him?
No, he did. He did pass Edryn and myself. We offered to accompany him, but he decided that he would prefer some time to himself. I handed him a whistle that we procured in Lithian, and asked him to blow it if he were to need any assistance.
That's what that noise was. That's what the noise was.
Hey, Leith, do you remember when we we accosted those blackguards on the dock?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
you gave it to
see.
him.
All right.
I remember that whistle from when he got arrested the other time.
Oh, that was quite confusing.
So,
Yes.
So, Lord Leith, is this where we sit and discuss the mistakes you might have made during combat, so that you can learn from them?
That I might have made.
No, that everybody might have made during combat.
I have made no such mistakes. Thing died, king is saved, we won, it's fine. Also, where the hell were you? You weren't there.
That is not what life is all about. Life is about surviving.
Yes,
And
we survived perfectly well, thank you.
It is not always I agree with Leif. On this point, I do.
What were you fighting?
It was one of those large, long-necked kind of...
Catoblepas.
Oh, is that what they call them?
Yeah, it's like a bison-esque, I think.
So, Goodale.
Oh, I was just going to ask if they had the cologne of a Catoblepas about them.
Right. I'm going to assume that because they had a little bit of time before they got here, they might have at least tried to get that off themselves. I think
That explains why they stink.
Yeah.
Wait,
I mean,
how pervasive would it be? Is it like a skunk where it's like just lingers for a while?
I think, well, it's the actual creature that stinks. Adrik's the one that got his hands all over it.
This is true.
So if anyone's going to stink, I mean, Leith cast a spell on it from range. Nyla didn't actually touch it. Edryn didn't actually touch it. Adrik was up close and personal with the Catoblepas. Adrik, can you make a constitution save? This is not for sickness. This is to see how well you got away with not stinking.
That makes sense.
Stink
man. Yo, it's not my night. By extension, it's not your night.
Right.
Edric, when was the last time you had a barf? You've really smelled really bad.
Well, you see, the thing is...
That was a natural
one,
wasn't it?
It was a natural one. The last time I had a bath was with you people back in Hemoth Terrace, before we left.
I really think you should go and take a bath, because you smell really bad. I didn't realize it was you from other side of the meeting, but now I am close and my eyes are watering.
So, even though that is all wonderful and everything else, you should, who learns about your monsters and keeps them in their mind for the next time and learns what they can do and stuff like that, who does that?
I don't know.
Who
I'm gonna
makes your
cast
team
Druidcraft and just send a little bit of breeze in the opposite direction of me.
Right.
Who does that amongst your group?
Well, we haven't had that sort of...
No, we've had no one to catalogue our defeats or our conquests yet, but if you're offering, I'd be quite grateful for you to do so.
You've obviously all survived and you're obviously all very good. Or else you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be alive.
Well, yes.
Yes,
I mean-
yes. But do you not take more note of what you've done, how you've done it, so any mistakes you make, you don't do again?
Life is full of mistakes. It's gonna happen
I
eventually.
know life is full of mistakes, but if you've been a soldier, which I bet you have, you know that there has to be some kind of knowledge and learning in what you do.
You're online.
Well, I do believe that Mr. Edryn has been keeping notes.
Yes,
See,
I
that-
of a
typically
sort.
write
Yes.
them in a narrative form for my wife, but we haven't really been able to send that off, so I've just been kind of making little things in my book. I got quite a good bit on the sufferance, I think.
See, that is an excellent thing. You need somebody like that, and your leader needs something like that. And the things you see and do are important. So you need data. You need to keep lots of data. Your fighting needs to be trained over and over again.
Tell you what, why don't you be in charge of tactical decisions and data collection, as you seem to be very mindful of it, and I don't want to.
This is much the
Then
reason
you'll
my
be
father.
dead in no time at all, because there's always someone stronger and better than you.
Brother dear,
Alright.
this is the reason my father always puts you in charge of security on all our outings.
All right, I'm
I
sorry.
love you for it.
Yes. Thank you, and I'm sorry, people. It's hard to get rid of. It's in your head, people. It's, you know what it's like. I do apologize.
If tactics is your strength, my friend, then tactics is what we will very much use you for. And
But
we
you
are
see-
very pleased to have you as part of the group.
But you see, I still need your help because I don't know everything. And you people know each other. And I'm sure I can learn from you.
You do have connections into this group, though, and you are most welcome.
I hope I can be worthy of that. I really
I-
do.
As are you, Nyla.
Hmm?
You are most welcome as well.
Yes. Right now I do not feel welcome, I feel sick.
Yes. Trust a druid to be able to smell it a mile away.
Yes, well sometimes
I'm-
the noses stay on.
I'm sorry I was so close to it. I'll sit in the leak for it until it goes.
Question, if I cast lesser restoration, will it get rid of the smell?
Sure. Sure.
I'm gonna cast lesser restoration.
All right. Very good.
There
You
we
could
go.
probably do it with mending as well, to be fair.
I don't have mending.
And prestidigitation.
Don't
Oh,
have
I have that.
prestidigitation.
There we go. I'll save you a spell slot. I'll just
Thanks. It smells like daisies. Thank you so much, Edryn.
That's the least I could do. You seemed a little unwell. And
Yes,
the
well, I
same
was
could
drunk
be
before this happened.
yes. The same could be said for you though, Ren. We have a lot to learn from you and Nyla. Obviously, very new to our group, but you know, I guess 6 heads are better than 4, and it's always good to have other people's inputs. You know, obviously grown up in different areas, especially Nyla.
Yes.
So, you know, and we have the insights of a soldier, which is very, I thought I'd never say that, but I'm very welcome.
Yes, I agree.
It is made for a very solid foundation to build mutual respect and further shenanigans.
Nyla, you and I have one thing in common.
Good taste in wine?
Apart from that, at the moment, we don't have a home, do we?
No. It is an interesting thing to be homeless, but with you guys, I feel less lost and a little bit more at home.
I'm a little luckier than you, though.
Yes,
I've
well, you
done-
have your sister here.
Yes. But, you know, she's shareable. She is shareable.
Are you offering me your sister? I feel like this is not a consensual agreement.
Don't look
Sorry,
at me
I-
that, don't look at me that way, Dala. I didn't mean it like that. Don't hit me. Don't.
She's a sight more enjoyable to be around than Ilavara, that's for sure.
I'll take that as a compliment, even though I do
Oh,
not know
you-
who that was.
You are not kidding. You are not kidding.
And on the matter of security, Leith,
Yes.
and Maith mentioned that there are some who are aware of the servants of the fox. Do you recall when I offered the foxtail to my brother Alar?
Yes, I do, quite distinctly.
Yes, he was not at all confused by what it was.
You did what?
Yes, I've been a bit nervous to tell Maith and Thorn and the others, but well, he'd been so helpful, and I thought I perceived that he wasn't entirely in agreement with Father, and I told him if he's ever ready to break ties with Hemoth Terith and the current regime, that he was to come to Timbrook, and I gave him a foxtail that we had received from the servants, and right away, it was the last time we saw him. Oh, sorry,
He would be a fantastic ally for us to have if he is aware of the servants of the fox. Yes.
Yes, he.
Very fortunately, this island is cloaked. He won't be able to find it unless he's been here before, or the island says it's okay. So I don't think it's much danger, but I feel like we should definitely tell Maith.
Absolutely.
Russell.
Yes.
My
So-
character is gobsmacked.
Okay. All right.
He was not himself that last time we saw him, Ren. He was flustered and he was nearly emotional, and he's always been sort of calm, like a ranger around the house, ready to, you know.
That is definitely not him.
No, I was a bit disturbed. And then Father, we met him not 5 minutes later, called him a silly boy.
That's strange.
I think your brother might have. Or your brother, is he? Is
Alar,
that
yes.
correct? Alar, yes. He may perhaps have wisdom beyond his years.
Or it is a trap.
Or it is a trap, though that is another viable option.
Shall we go and find Maith? Lady Gadale.
Yes, that's probably wise.
If we are
Wise
leaving
idea.
tomorrow, it is time as other evidence, then I think it should be done.
Where are we leaving exactly?
In a very
think
general
maybe-
reaction, I feel like Leif can point a way for us to go. New
Well,
leader.
The Maith has actually said we should leave the island tomorrow evening. So I think we may be, if we don't make our way ourselves, then he will probably get us on our way.
All right, Mr. Leaf, if you don't mind, which is the most important asset that we need to fulfill? I obviously realise that you have objectives with each one of you. Which is the most important that you all agree on?
Well, yes, I think it's important, first of all, that we look at all of the options as to who we need to speak to and what armies we need to gather for Braegan to return.
Yes, sir, and he stands up straight. Like,
Personally, I feel like Cargi Mingal might be a good option, considering.
Hagiminga?
Yes, that one.
Yes, that is a good option. Mr. Secretary, by that I mean Edryn, if you wouldn't mind noting some of this down.
Be my pleasure.
Yes. Kagi Mingal, yes. So we approach the orcs. Is definitely a good possibility, although I'm a little nervous about.
Well, they have the most hatred for the current king, considering what he did.
Yes, but they're not exactly on good terms with
Some-
elves in general.
Well, maybe we can change their minds. Some of them are quite nice.
Sir,
Me?
Yes, sir.
No need to call me Sir, Ren. My name is Leith.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, Mr. Leith. The orcs may be involved with the present king. I do have proof of this, but they could be involved with the present king. So we should hope that Kagi Mingel isn't. Should we not find out if she is or not?
Well,
first?
we are of the understanding that she is some sort of a rebel against the, not exactly in opposition of the orc cause, but a rebel within orcan culture. So she may be on our side.
Yes, sir. Have you any more information on her that we can gather? What are her forces?
I think we would need to go and talk to her in that instance to find out
Is
what
there
she
any?
can offer and if she is welcoming of this work together.
Are her forces completely orcs? Are they completely orcs? Yes, orcish.
I believe so. Although, do we have any other options of allies to think of at the moment?
Well, yes, this is constructing the list of who we might also be able to align ourselves with.
All right, Kagi Mingal and who?
Well, there was also, if we can liberate Vaingate and find Queen Claresca, that is definitely an option. Another would be going to. Oh no, sorry, I keep forgetting its fucking name. What was Edryn's home?
Vanderhold.
Vanderhold was also an option, though from what Edryn tells me, it is currently under a fish rebellion of its own.
Yes.
Do these rebels have a cause?
Something washed up on the beach and caused some sort of sickness, and I think the poor handling of the outbreak led to some of the commoners not exactly being supportive of the current leadership, and I can't imagine any persons who might want to one up the current leadership would also get involved. I would certainly know of one person who wouldn't mind doing something about it. However, there would be a collection of potential tribes with access to mammoths, who are also good fighters themselves. They turned the tide of a war back some time ago.
What is a mammoth? That sounds awesome.
It's a large mammal with tusks and a fifth appendage at the front of the face.
I would very much like to see that.
They are. I mean, I've never actually seen one, but I've heard they are very impressive.
Yes, but I would very much like to see one. If you.
Oh yes. Drift. I'd also like to see. Oh, you mean for the? I was meaning in terms of awe and excitement. I'm rather quite excited to see them. I've never seen anything so big. One. Let's not go into that. So yes, we have Vanderhold as a potential. Goliaths and all.
Fabulous. We could always go to the Feywild, but oh wait, we need a portal for that. Sorry, I've been trying to get home for a very long time. It is my own little joke.
I do think that is a very good option for possibly moving forward, and would get you home as well, Edryn, to find out the current situation in Vanderhold, which I know you are so looking for, so in need to catch up on.
So
beautiful.
inspiration for Nyla from Actually Bard, who's just purchased Nyla some inspiration. While we're here, Velixion is asking how much inspiration to bestow the party a custom item. I asked what the custom item might be. Velixion has suggested a bottle labelled Till the Last Drop. It's an ale, potent, so potent one drop is akin to a shot. That's pretty potent. We do have Dragon's Breath in canon in Vaingate Chronicles, which is some pretty potent stuff, which might be similar to this. A dex save is required when pouring just one drop. Typical con saves on consumption per drop. I don't understand the dex save. Is that to pour the drop into a cup? I'm not sure.
I think it's
to make sure it's only one drop.
Only one drop.
On a fail of the dex save, pour 1d4
1d4 additional drops. Right, I see. Okay. What do we think is a fair amount of inspiration for some? Divinity. Divinity is a channel currency. If inspiration is 777.
For a drink that makes us very drunk.
Well, let's also consider like a blanket thing for custom items then.
True.
Because we don't want to make them too low.
Yeah,
well, we've got 3,000 for reroll diff save and for guiding the raid, so maybe like 2,500.
Could be 2,500 if as long as it's a common. When I say common, I mean non-magical.
Yeah.
You know, a consumable might be different. If you wanted to give someone like a magical item, I'm thinking it's going to be like tens of thousands of divinity. Would you consider you could spike the big bad evil guy's punch bowl with it, right? So it could be...
I would definitely do that. That sounds amazing. Also,
Right.
I already have inspiration. I'm so sorry, actually, Bard. Would you like to pick someone else? I
Well,
don't think I can stack inspirations.
You can't stack inspiration, that's true. So actually, Bard, you can pass it on to someone else, or you can save it for another time, if you like. You've purchased it already. Also, mind that you have to pour more shots if you fail on the dex save, so it could waterfall. Or did I read it wrong? I'm not sure. Velixion is the master of the Till the Last Drop.
I think that's
Construct.
what the 1d4 roll is.
Yeah.
If you fail on the dex save,
It makes
then
sense, doesn't it?
then it accidentally pours a little bit more and you get more
Right.
drunk. Yeah.
Right. I think that something like this could be like 2,500 inspiration. Divinity. I think something more complex, with more game breaking, might be significantly more expensive. Who already has inspiration? Can we tell? Do we know who's got inspiration at this point? We know Nyla does. Max has. So Edryn. So there you go. Ren, Adrik, Goodale, and Leith. They are all lacking inspiration right now. Lacking inspiration.
Honestly, I feel like Edric needs some considering his roles this game. Just saying.
God. I've had two sessions where I've rolled a consistent amount of ones.
I have to agree with Infizian.
All right. Very good, Velixion. You get to saving. See, we sucked you into watching our channel now. Ha 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 ha. See, it works. Adrik, it is. There you go. You got inspiration.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay, so this conversation that you were having,
on an inspiration roll.
I'll snap back into the role playing now.
Cool.
So, off you go.
I feel like the Goliaths could be good allies. They are very strong, not so smart, but very good to like point and shoot at people. Like go that way and fight.
I think they may not be book smart, but they're definitely tactical, battle-wise.
Tactically advantaged.
Yes, they turned the tide of a 7-year war in roughly 6 months. So
That is a very short time to turn over a war that lasted for 7 years.
yes, there also weren't a lot of people actually fighting it at the same time, though. So
Oh,
very good, very good, very good tribes.
did they sleep? They fighting for 7 years.
Oh, not 7 years straight. 7 years over a course of campaigns and battles that were very, very hard.
Oh. I see. I need a drink after seeing that guy. Does anyone else want to get a drink, or did we need to go see Maith now, or do we want to wait until tomorrow?
Well,
If he's here tomorrow.
Do we have any other suggestions on who we need to align ourselves with?
I may have a squire in Vaingate that has found out some information.
Oh,
Perhaps, maybe
well-
she'll find out some information. Very intelligent girl. I can't imagine she didn't find out information.
we are not most favoured in Vaingate, but it is certainly worth considering.
One day I'll ask you why.
Well, to be fair, it's only Milford that's been tied to the stories.
Well,
Publicly.
Publicly, but he was associated with a group, and that group is pretty clearly us. So
The wizards did see us leave, and they had our names on the register.
Yes.
So how are you going to go there if you're all so well known?
well, that's what I'm saying. We'll put it down as a suggestion, and thank you for the suggestion, Ren. But I do feel that we might have to do a bit of very fast talking and a lot of disguise work.
Yes.
If we were to go to
However,
Vaingate.
However, we do have our underground contacts, one of which operates out of the basement of the same sentinel that both you and Goodale practiced in.
That is correct. Yes, we
So
do.
at least-
We definitely have those contacts.
We've got a network of people who might be able to sneak us around just a little bit.
And possibly
Covertly.
could stay in the temple as well.
That'd be very good.
If, of course, we can get in.
Adrik.
Yes.
Sorry.
There's always a way in.
Yes.
Question is finding it.
Well, perhaps we should go somewhere that you're not well known and then circle back around.
And if we can do some good along the way, that's ideal.
I believe
Isn't this attack on Vaingate happening now or about to happen?
As far as we know, it's in the process of happening.
Well, I do have a suggestion, if I may.
This is democracy. Go right ahead.
Absolutely.
If we don't go to Vaingate, they'll have the war, and then the forces we need will be depleted one way or the other. On the other hand, if we let the war happen, the wizards are the problem, are they?
Aye.
The wizards will be depleted from defending Vaingate. So there, my captain, is your decision. If we went to Vaingate, when do we go? Before the war or after the war?
Well, as we say, the war is likely happening now.
I'm not sure. I don't have any intel on it because I've been somewhat indisposed.
Do we really want to get involved in another war?
Well, I think we're getting involved in a greater war, one way or the other.
Yes, but do we want to get involved in a smaller war, then a medium war, then a bigger war?
Anyone?
Let's try and pick our smaller wars,
with
medium wars, and then our big wars.
with the forces moving up from Dagdagiel, which side note, I think Braegan also said it might be good to go over there, sniff around, see what the deal is over there. But if we've got forces from Dagdagiel that might reinforce the wizards, then it might be better to, tactically speaking, secure Vaingate and then be able to stave off a siege rather than going into sieging a city that has already been taken by the Dagdagiels.
Or we could go to Dagdagiel, see what they have, investigate what they have, because nobody knows any of us. Is that correct?
Barry Camera.
Nobody in Dagdagiel knows any of us, correctly?
Not as
The
far as I
wizards-
know.
The wizards
Alright.
would have our names, but I don't think they'd have our likenesses.
They don't know who I am.
I am.
Well, they also don't know who Ren is.
I would add that we should be quite nervous about approaching anywhere near that end of the continent. Dagdagiel is just across the water from the Barrack Isle, and that is where the wizards that have taken that have taken Vaingate are from,
But if we go
or are
to
trying to take the Vaingate at least.
my captain, if we go to Dagdagiel, we can at least find their weaknesses and their strengths. And we may find people that don't agree with the entire war. So
What if we
then-
get the... Oh, sorry.
So then we can go to Vaingate and tell them what's heading in their direction.
This is good. This is a good point.
This
Wait,
is
Then we can prepare them or help them if we can find Queen Callista, and she does have a force, if she has a force, then we can arrange with her to how to defend Vaingate against Dagdagiel.
Going to Dagdagiel also offers us an opportunity to hamstring them, so to speak. Disrupting supply lines, potentially eliminating any potential aid they might receive.
And don't forget about finding
Sorry,
any...
Leith.
Russell, Clarisca's the queen of
Vaingate.
Vaingate, right?
Vaingate, yes.
Yeah. Just trying to clarify that.
And she comes from a place called Scartabel, which is why the title Queen Clarisca of Scartabel.
Yep.
Just a question, why don't we ally with wizards? They have lots of magic, and the king who stands on the place doesn't like magic, and then we just have them fight each other, and it solves both problems.
Well,
The issue is that the Archmage, he's not exactly a fan of four of us on this party.
What did you do? Light them on fire?
Did you see that large barge on the beach?
That's your boat?
Aye.
it
That's all
was
our gold.
his. It was kind of his.
I'll take. Yeah, I was it. I helped unearth most of it. That's fine.
I mean, we could probably give it back and be like, hey, here is a token of our sorry and gratitude, and we could take it. I apologized to Braegan, and he seemed to take it well.
And
There's
they
also-
would be, hey, where is our money? And we would be in big trouble.
It would be, hey, here's the barge with some of the money. Where quite a lot of it went missing while you were here. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
And
Okay,
by the way, while we're at it, we'll suck your brain out and find out everything you know.
yes, they don't seem like the sort of people to go, thank you for giving us half the money back, let's be friends. They seem a lot more, you stole 1 copper from me, I'm going to kill you out of principle.
Neither we
I
stole
don't
a
think
lot.
they're-
That's just rude.
Yes, they're not particularly nice people. It would be good magic users versus the magic hoarders, but we might need to work a little bit harder on that, especially if we're trying not to entirely screw over an entire city.
Fair enough.
From my understanding, the Barrack Isle wizards, their aim also is to hoard magic, but to use it to have the bigger stick, so to speak.
What is it with these stick measuring competitions? What is the point of hoarding all the magic? Magic is everywhere. It's in nature, it's in the air, it's in people that grow up and be born in the middle of the swamp.
Preaching to the choir.
It makes no sense to try and hoard magic. It is everywhere. Also, why don't we just put the names in a hat and pick it out, and then pick a direction?
That's a good idea.
That's
Except
quite fair.
very quickly, I'm aware of that we would need to find if hypothetically we go to Dagdagiel, we need to find a swift way to get there, because the same amount of time we spend going down, they're going to spend going up. And by the time we may get down, they may already be at Vaingate. So if we do go to the side of the continent, it needs to be snappy.
Can I get everybody to make intelligence checks, please?
Oh, that is my thing.
I'm not too bad at it until.
It's-
Let's
Yes,
roll
I-
terribly at it.
Right.
Oh! Should I use my...
Hey!
Oh my God.
16.
16.
Not terrible.
Not terrible.
23.
23. Excellent. Okay.
4!
Okay. Well, Nyla's check makes a certain amount of sense because she's a kind of newcomer to the world.
Leith's does as well. His head is kind of spinning with where do we go? What do we do?
I think Leith's geography is a little lacking.
Yeah.
He knows a lot about certain things, and other things he's just completely oblivious to the larger map of the world and how
he's got
geopolitics
a larger
work.
question as well of that's kind of bugging him right now is who is the ultimate enemy of these armies that we are gathering? It's
Right.
not quite as clear cut as it may be.
So Adrik, Edryn, and Goodale, now you've all heard at one time or another that the forces from Dagdagiel have already marched through Kurgasiax, past Zamradiel, to the plains beyond Charasith and Thandafaxath, and that their chariots have joined them near Thandafaxath. So they're already more than halfway from Dagdagiel to Vaingate.
Now that we're talking about it, I recall that the forces at Dagdagiel have already moved. They're likely a little over halfway there.
Yes, that's what I mean. We need to be... If we go down, we need to find something almost instantaneous. Given the time, I could prepare that and a little bit more knowledge, but that might also take a bit too much time, and it might be safer to, I guess, save the cat.
It would
Oh,
be
and have a-
handy. Sorry, brother.
No, you go, sis.
I was just going to say it would be handy to have rebel force to rely on if we were going to try to thwart a marching army.
That is what I was beginning to think as well, that perhaps we are better served if armies are already marching to the south and coming to and headed for Vaingate already, then perhaps we should be speaking with the orcs, and perhaps also heading to Vanderhold to see what forces can be gathered there.
How
Spoken
far,
like a true leader.
how far are both these things? How far are they from each other?
Well, we need to head somewhere near Kobandur, which is, I would say, north. Is that right? Yes. And then Vanderhold is further north, probably sometime on the sea.
Okay. So providing that she said, yes, I will follow you, how long will it take us to get back? Will we beat the army?
Never ever seduce widows. That way.
Will we beat the army before it gets to Vaingate?
It depends which one we get first, I think.
Leith is a little thrown by what
The one thing...
what Nyla just said.
What did Nyla just say?
Never ever seduce widows.
North, south, east, west.
Ah.
Alright.
I see.
It's so much better than never eat soggy Weet-Bix.
Never ever smash windows.
Or in Chinese, Dongxi Nanbei.
You were
But that's a totally
saying,
different
Oh.
scenario.
You were saying?
I think we should either do the orcs or Vanderhold.
But we have to be precise on which one we're doing, because timing is everything.
I think the orcs will probably have a larger, more ferocious army.
That's fine, but will we get back before Vaingate is hit?
Ren, his comment about the orcs having a larger, more ferocious army, you have your doubts about that, because you know that the Orcan Empire and this is one of the things that you got thrown into the sufferance for. Everybody believes the orcs have a huge empire and they're just ready to come pouring over the mountains at any time. But Ren, you happen to be aware of the fact that the orcs are on their last legs. Their empire is currently bearing the weight and strain of rebellion. That there are tribes who are in open rebellion. Kagi Mingal is one of them. You don't think they have a standing army ready to come anywhere. They're busy fighting each other.
Okay, one, I don't think they have a standing army. Two, they're too busy fighting each other. Great idea, though.
And what of Kargi Mingal, Ren? Do you know much about her and her faction?
From what I know, she has a reasonable force, but she's still busy dealing a bit with who hates her at home, let alone who she can help out there. Beyond that.
Well, that is why she headed to Kobandor, isn't it?
Yeah, so I would imagine that's not our greatest option at the moment.
So then, with the process of elimination, potentially Vanderhold is our best first stop, and then Vaingate.
Agreed.
It would sound like it.
All in favor?
Vanderhold is very much going to take us a lot longer, and I would say the armies will have converged on Vaingate by the time we even get to Vanderhold.
We could do something that is very seldom done.
Aye.
We could get a small army from Vaingate, and we could hit the present army coming as it's making its march, disappear, hit, disappear, hit, disappear, hit. And it would take longer and more time.
To what end?
Soften them up.
Soften them up, reducing the army, because they expect, and we will lead them to Vaingate, and then we will use the Vaingate as a fortress.
I'm sorry, which army are you talking about?
The present army from Dagdagiel.
If we were to hire
But they are on our side. We don't want to.
No, the
are
army
they
from
not?
Dagdagiel is assisting the Barakail envoy.
Oh, I see.
Not to mention the Barakail
Oh,
Empire
I'm
also
sorry,
still in Vaingate.
I'm
So
getting
we
myself
have,
very mixed up here.
we have
It's all
enemies
right.
in the walls.
It's
There's
all
quite a
right,
lot
it's been a long night.
And there's quite a lot we're talking about. It's easy to get flustered.
Yes, thank you for keeping me on track.
I did forget that they were currently occupying Vaingate. That's a good point, Edryn.
Could we not, however, in Ren's same vein, sure, the orcs don't have a large army, but even if we had a sort of a hit and run team, they could do exactly what Ren suggested, going in, hitting them at night, or poisoning the wells or the rivers or something like that, doing night raids and slowly trying to whittle them down whilst we go get bigger help, because I agree by the time we get back, Vaingate will be taken, but at least if we can slow them down or chip away at them with smaller forces, that allows us to go out and get bigger forces to then reinforce us by the time they arrive.
To Nyla's point earlier in court, that's a lot of risk for Kagi and her people, for a city that she's likely never been into. We would have to come with a very good offer.
What's in it for her?
Aye.
Yes.
Also, if what
I
Renda
see
said
that
is true, and the orcs do not have one conducive army, perhaps they are not who we should go and offer to get fighting, because then we'd have to sort out their mess as well.
Very good. Where would you propose we get our initial armies from then?
My instinct is probably either the Goliath from Vanderhold, or to try and find Queen Claresca.
Claresca?
But as she is lost, it is going to be very difficult to locate her. So my vote is for Vanderhold. What say you?
I think Vanderhold seems to be the most popular option at this point. Vanderhold it shall be. Dala?
To Vanderhold.
Yes.
To Vanderhold!
To Vanderhold.
All right. And with that, then, I think we shall finish our stream tonight. Seems like you've
to
come
Vanderhold!
If that's the consensus, by the beginning of the next game, after we've all talked about it in Facebook chat for a week, we'll have decided we're all going to, I don't know, the jungles of Kurgasiax, but who knows? For now, this seems like a good place to stop. Thank you, everyone. I think that was an excellent game. I appreciate all your hard work. Thank you for watching, viewers. It's been wonderful to have you.
Yes, thanks everybody for watching.
Please do tune in next week if you can. And if you are desperate for more, well, there's a whole bunch of episodes on YouTube sitting just right over there, and the doobly-doo thing down there. And I hate that phrase. Damn you, Matthew Colville.
Doobly-doo.
I love it.
Damn
Link
you.
down below.
I need a...
Down below in the doobly-doo.
Yeah.
Down below the doobly-doo.
We need our
Where's that from?
own thing for that.
We need to get Matt Colville to sponsor us.
Oh yeah, he'll do that.
Yeah.
You go and ask him.
We'll get more subscribers. We need to bring him with an offer. What's in it for him?
Right.
Shall we bring him gold, jewels?
Right.
Well, I have it on good authority that he likes sacks of tin.
Sacks of tin.
Sacks of tin.
Well, good luck with that.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, cool bananas.
Yeah, see you all next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
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 Bye.